25-30 एपिसोड के बाद सबके हाथ में माइक है ना अभी, तो इसका मतलब क्या हुआ? हम सही में बेरोजगार हैं?
नहीं
we've become proper podcast.
इसका
We're
मतलब
ready
we
for
have started
podcast.
investing podcast में. That means users are going up.
It came out of the company.
guys, we have started investing money because बाहर से तो आ नहीं रहा, खुद ही डालना पड़ेगा ना.
Wait, Akash, तूने कंपनी
So
के उस
did-
पे चार्ज किया ये माइक?
Yeah, company money. That is your own money so far. That is not any other money.
यार
Yeah,
आकाश
यार,
if
I don't understand why sponsors don't know. हम तो किसी भी चीज के ऐड करने के लिए यहाँ वेट कर रहे हैं, है ना? किसका ऐड करने में दिक्कत है? किसी भी चीज, ब्रिल, क्रीम, चड्डी, बनियान, कुछ भी बेच देंगे
BJP
यहाँ
party,
पे.
if you want to advertise on our podcast, you are fully
फिर से
welcome.
बोल, Kevin didn't hear.
Yeah.
BJP party, if you want to advertise on our podcast, you are fully able to.
यार मैं बोलना रहा था ये मोआनो वाला कंपनी जिसने माइक बनाया उनको कांटेक्ट करके बोलो.
Oh, I didn't know किसकी बात कर रहा था. पता है, I was like, अभी ये गुस्सा होने वाला है क्या किसी पे? मैं डर गया, ये किसने, ये लेटेस्ट आउटरीच किस पे है इसका?
You know, it's funny कि
I thought he was saying.
अपन सब जोक मार रहे हैं,
हाँ.
केविन सीरियस हो गया कि माइक वाली कंपनी से स्पॉन्सरशिप लेते हैं और ये
मैं मजाक कर रहा था like घंटा.
We
वो
did
लोग भी
get
बोले
Wait,
तो
by
fine
wait,
है.
company for a
guys,
sponsorship, by the way.
please don't say like that. Kevin, गुस्सा मत हो, ठीक है? That was a joke. You don't take it seriously. Don't talk about someone's kids and everything, ठीक है? पता नहीं गुस्सा आ जाएगा तो.
Okay, by the way, did anyone see that ludicrous display last night?
What?
अबे IT crowd,
Amrit was the only one.
IT crowd.
Amrit's the only one who will get it.
I know.
But Amrit, you guys saw it now? You were watching the match?
किसका मैच देखा? हमारा, हम जो T20 जीते तो कह रहे हैं जो
T20, good positive.
शाबाश,
yeah, yeah.
शाबाश. ODI
actually-
भाई,
काफी अच्छा मैच था कल का. It's a pretty
Good
good.
match, good match. Good.
मुझे पता भी नहीं था कि T20 चल रहा है.
we were discussing on the group. हम बात तो कर रहे थे.
केविन, अमृत और मैंने
Yeah,
कम से
we were
कम 50
discussing.
मैसेज एक्सचेंज किए होंगे ग्रुप पे. It shows कि क्या
कभी-कभी
लेवल है.
skip मार.
No, it shows also कि like if you look at me and Arnav's conversation, it's like really two old people whining about the game, like very
Seriously.
genuinely. Because I can,
I like how Amrit's like chodo.
no, I
game,
can,
chodo,
I
and then
only
in the
see,
middle-
I watch the game like only like आखिरी 4 या 5 ओवर में I'm able to like tune in कि चलो अब स्कोर हो गया. Otherwise crick info I keep on. क्योंकि I continuously देखूंगा तो
right.
I'll get angry, और फिर मांजरेकर start speaking तो then मुझे और भी गुस्सा आता है. तो वो साइड में चल रहा है एंड भाई पहली बार आखिरी 4 ओवर में कुछ अच्छा हुआ हमारे साथ. यूजुअली उल्टा हो. जब पांडे आउट हुआ था ना, मैंने कहा भाई भूल जाओ, मुझे अब तो फर्क ही नहीं है,
Yeah.
कौन मारेगा. बट मैन दैट वाज अमेजिंग. अच्छा,
और
और हमने भाई
जडेजा ना?
पहली बार हमने सिस्टम का मस्त काटा. हम जडेजा की जगह चाहल को वाले आए.
But which is, oh, by the way, he's out of the series, T20. So something serious has happened.
बट सीरियस कंट्रोवर्सी हैज आल्सो हैपेंड बिकॉज़ वो हेनरिकेस वगैरह कंप्लेन भी कर रहे हैं कि
Yeah.
ये थोड़ा ना होता है, यू आर सपोज्ड टू ब्रिंग एन ऑलराउंडर, तुम बॉलर को कैसे ले आए?
Well,
तो ये तो तुम सैंड पेपर यूज कर सकते हो, हम इतना
Why
नहीं कर
does that-
सकते.
Why does that matter? Because it's you. Your order can be set by you, right?
No, the concussion rule says it has to be a like for like player.
hmm.
So and for an all-rounder, Australians are saying you should have brought in another all-rounder.
But to be fair, इंडिया के पास शायद कोई था ही नहीं ऑलराउंडर और इसके अलावा.
मैं बोलने वाला था, देख भाई, पहले तो हम मैच जीत गए तो रोना बंद कर. सेकंड
Yeah.
बात, तुझे क्या लगता है हमारे पास 10 साल में 2 ऑलराउंडर मुश्किल से आते हैं? एक है पांड्या, वो ऑलरेडी टीम में है. दूसरा जडेजा. तुझे क्या
Yeah.
लगता है हम ऑलराउंडर लेके घूम रहे हैं? मतलब
Can we
वेला है.
count? Can we count Ramesh Power as all rounder?
अबे उसको फ्लाइट,
वो बेचारा retire हो गया.
उसको फ्लाइट में भी नहीं लाया यार, वो ऑस्ट्रेलिया तक. तो उसका नाम बीच में आके तू नाम घसीट रहा है उनका बीच पे. रिटायर हो गया हैप्पीली. आई थिंक इस महाराष्ट्र. अर्नव, तुम्हारी कोई टीम कोचिंग कर रहा है ना अभी वो?
No idea यार.
रमेश-
उसका
How have you not been following Ramesh Pawar?
sorry आकाश यार. I will update you in the next podcast. उसका स्टेटस
आकाश,
क्या है लाइव
thank
का.
you.
You know,
आकाश
he used to
लास्ट
wear
ईयर
those red-
लास्ट
to
ईयर
wear
रणजी
these-
ट्रॉफी कौन जीता था?
Yeah, if I watched a commoners trophies, I would be very
Communist. That's so offensive. Sorry.
तो मतलब कोई ना कोई ये इसको एयरपोर्ट पे पकड़ के कोई पेलेगा. मैं मान नहीं रहा.
आकाश, कभी तेरा पॉडकास्ट अगर फेमस हो गया और तू कभी इंडिया विजिट
हाँ,
किया
सच
तूने
में
ना,
ना।
तुझे
जैसे I'm gonna-
और अगर अभी
तूने
करंट
हम-
गवर्नमेंट रही तुझे लिटरली पत्थर मारेंगे वो एयरपोर्ट पे ही।
मैं मजाक नहीं कर रहा। तो तू ये जो तू हमारे देश का मजाक उड़ाता है ना हर बात पे, देखो इसलिए एटलीस्ट मैं और अर्नव सेफ हैं। केविन तो गया पक्का।
I play into the villain role, you know.
भाई
You guys keep saying that I am not Indian, so I play
अमृत
into
और
it.
मैं
ओ
न्यूट्रल
ये
रहते हैं।
मेथड
का बॉर्डर
ये
छोड़ूंगा तो वो मारेंगे
I-
मेरे को।
ओ ये मेथड एक्टिंग है। ओके ओके, दिस इज मेथड एक्टिंग। अच्छा
It's method acting.
Okay.
What were you saying, Kevin? Where's Kevin? They're going to beat anyway because he's so against.
एवरीथिंग।
Nothing, I'm not against anyone,
Yes,
okay? I
exactly.
love everyone.
या केविन, अभी भी तेरे जब तक तेरे डॉक्यूमेंट स्टैंप नहीं होते, यू शुड नॉट टेक एनी पब्लिक स्टैंड इन
Yeah.
या केविन तो अर्नब गोस्वामी का फैन है।
फिर
केविन
भी-
सबका
नहीं
fan
यार,
है।
वो थोड़ा ज्यादा हो गया अभी यार, ये मत समझ पाए यार।
He couldn't stick with it for even a second. He just straight away came out and just said, "नहीं,
केविन
वो ज़्यादा हो
केविन
गया."
यू हैव टू, प्रोफेशनल पॉडकास्टर है, हमारे पास माइक है अभी, दैट मींस वी हैव टू एक्ट लाइक नो, हम हर चीज में न्यूट्रल हैं। वी कांट लाइक हैव एक्सट्रीम ओपिनियंस, ऐसा कहते हैं हम, पता नहीं। मैं तो ऑनेस्टली
कभी
आई फील माय ओपिनियन बिकेम न्यूट्रल सिंपली बिकॉज लाइफ की वजह से ओपिनियन बिकेम वो लाइक जितो जो भी रेडिकल चीजें थी, और मे बी आई शुड से शादी के बाद।
आई वाज अबाउट टू से कि शादी के बाद प्रायोरिटीज अपनी
Yeah, I
डिफरेंट है अब। सो
प्रायोरिटीज भी नहीं, लाइक अब देखने का तरीका हो गया कि आई गेट बोथ साइड्स, आई थिंक वाला कि अगर ये भगचोदी भी छाड़ रहा है तो मतलब कुछ तो हुआ होगा।
We'll talk about Amrit's sides on another episode of the podcast, which side Amrit is leaning towards now. But anyway, let's get on a topic since we've got professional microphones to record the podcast, so everyone should sound better,
या
hopefully.
आई थिंक अपने को बोलना नहीं चाहिए था। अब ऑडियंस एक्सपेक्ट कर रहा हो कि आवाज आएगी इनकी फॉर नेक्स्ट 1
No,
आवर।
no, we have to put this.
Yeah, and
We have
and
to
when
put this
you if
expectations
you
on
hear
us.
us clearly, you'll understand how much more stupider we sound and
Exactly.
the kind
अरे,
of
microphone
things we
आने-
say.
After this microphone has come, I keep doing this damn thing, man. That
Describe it.
The-
Describe it. What are you doing on the thing?
the distance estimator thing, like that this guy was doing. What is his name, man?
If you guys have watched Gully Boy,
Gully Boy,
Ranveer Singh
yeah.
does it a lot on the mic.
Basically, Kevin
The
अंगूठा चूस रहा है
space between
अपना,
him and the mic.
अंगूठा चूस रहा
It's
है,
Ankuta.
and he's trying to do something. क्या है ये गली बॉय का? ये सीन मैंने मिस कर दिया, but
Oh my god. Anyway, welcome to the Vele podcast, everyone. Oh my god.
ओके
Arnav, what happened? You were rubbing your chest. I was like, yeah.
भाई
अबे
Was it too
just
loud?
because mic आया, तुम्हारी voice inflections hurt the other people also. तूने ऐसा welcome मारा, मेरे कान में गूंजा। Welcome to the वो.
Then I'll edit this out. Welcome to the Vele podcast,
Keep
everyone.
it. Intro किसके
We
लिए
are-
करता है तू
I
ये?
am
सुनता तो है नहीं
for
कोई.
you guys and the public. I am your host Akash, joined by Arnav, Amrit, and Kevin, the usual cast.
What's up?
Today we've got some interesting topics. The first one being biggest scams we have come across.
Guys, we are going for clickbait की हद, क्योंकि हम चाहते हैं कि लोग
Exactly.
क्लिक करें, क्योंकि हम इस पे सहारा या वो सब लिखेंगे.
If you watch Bad Boy Billionaires, basically that's all we're going to
नो
talk
नो
about.
एक्चुअली वी शुड टैग
No,
1992
no.
स्कैम दैट्स मच मोर
हाँ.
ट्रेंडिंग अभी।
जिस पे कोई बात नहीं कर, जिसमें हम चारों में से कोई भी नहीं बात कर रहा, but still.
वी शुड हैव
Yeah, such way. I was going to say,
अर्नव, अच्छा
Arnav said
रुक
1992 scam.
अर्नव, तू ये जो कर रहा, तूने जो स्कैम चूज किया था, तूने रिसर्च करी उस पे?
नहीं बट मेरा आज है ही नहीं
तो
इसमें।
फिर तो आइडिया क्यों देना है बे? चुप.
मैं अगले इसमें 1992 स्कैम करने वाला हूँ।
अगला इज टुमारो. तो आप एक हफ्ते से जो नहीं कर पाया तो बड़ा 24
नो
घंटे
बिकॉज़
में
आई हैव
करने
सीन द
वाला है.
होल टीवी शो इसलिए
तो
7 एपिसोड्स का।
doing a recap of the show is not going to teach you everything. No, बेशरम.
Wait, which? No, wait, what show? That
अबे ओ,
Hollywood.
you know what?
That is.
अबे हंसल
That
मेहता
is
वाला
next
तूने वो
episode.
नहीं. अच्छा मैं किससे
Oh,
बात
okay.
कर रहा हूँ?
Oh no,
ये
okay, that.
क्या उठ के उठा के लाया इसमें?
I thought you were talking about something.
नहीं 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 अभी सोनी लाइव पे टीवी शो आया है अबाउट 1992 स्कैम फाइनेंशियल स्कैम
No, that I've heard about.
अबाउट हर्षद मेहता।
ये झूठ बोल रहा है. आई थिंक इस पक्का लाइंग. ये पक्का झूठ बोल रहा है.
No, I've heard
But,
about it, but I've never watched it.
in-
Even though Sony Live doesn't come
in
here,
my
I know
mind
it's
I
very
keep
popular.
calling that guy हंसल मेहता. हंसल कौन है बे?
नहीं आई थिंक वो उसका डायरेक्टर है अमृत। यू माइट बी राइट कि डायरेक्टर माइट बी हंसल मेहता बट आई थिंक जिसने स्कैम किया था आई थिंक हिज नेम वाज हर्षद।
ये भाई थे क्या?
नहीं भाई हर्षद तो
सारे मेहता थोड़ी ना भाई होते।
ओ, हाँ केविन दे सारे जॉन भाई बहन नहीं निकलते ना, है ना? But yeah.
छी 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 छी।
ऐसा मैं तो बात बता रहा था, मैं तुमने कुछ कहा भाई।
अच्छा हो कि तूने और कोई नाम नहीं
Anyway,
लिया।
हाँ
since
ओ
Arnav
अर्नव, यू
picked
यू
up
वर
the
एक्चुअली
topic,
करेक्ट। हंसल मेहता है डायरेक्टर और हर्षद मेहता की स्टोरी है। परफेक्ट।
but on that note do watch it if you have time, it's brilliant show.
रिकमेंडेशन एंड में।
Okay, sorry.
so where do, yeah, save recommendation. You did this last time as well, Arnav. Okay, we won't stand for this. Last episode where you also did the.
Yeah,
Since
context में it makes more
But
sense for me, but
my
anyways.
favorite is जब एपिसोड लंबा हो जाता है, केविन स्टार्ट्स मेकिंग द कट योर नेक वाला जेस्चर। मतलब oh, end it
Here,
and Kalia keeps speaking even after
yeah. I'll to purposely annoy Kevin because I just see him go edit. Like, no, I'm not ending.
guys, if any of you are listening, do tell us कि podcast length से आप पे क्या फर्क पड़ता है? I don't know where you will tell us that, but still do.
I've heard that they say you should keep it to 10 minutes. I'm like, 10 minutes, we won't even start the podcast. I was like, very good.
हमारे scam वाले podcast का intro है ना ये? But yeah.
Yes, this is the scam intro, the intro to scam. We are scamming them right now on this.
Good one.
All ad agencies, आपका ad यहाँ पे
Okay.
जाएगा। इस point पे before we go into
Yeah,
the
yeah.
topic, Kevin will sell your underwear. Kevin, go for it.
Manav underwear.
Yeah. Abhi, you're supposed to say like something else with it,
अबे
not just the brand name.
podcast का ads नहीं देखे, discount code Vele. If someone types in discount code Vele anywhere ना, मतलब
They'll throw a they'll send someone to give you a thappar only.
शुरू कर।
Anyway, so I'm going to start off. My topic is the FYRE Festival. I think everyone in our group has heard of it, but for those of you who don't know, the FYRE Festival was basically a fraudulent music festival created by Billy McFarland and very popular rapper Ja Rule. Now, Arnav, I'm sure you've listened to a lot of Ja Rule
Oh yeah,
songs. You like to sing
हमेशा
some
सोने से
songs?
पहले वही सुनता हूँ मैं.
So Ja Rule is a very not well. He was at one point a big rapper. He was rising to be. People compared him to. Some people compared him to being the next Tupac. Like put him on that level. And
Yeah.
Arnav, you know Tupac because
Yeah,
Kevin's
हमने
topic.
episode किया था.
Thanks to Kevin.
So yeah, we like the before I start, we like the conspiracy topic a lot, so we decided to go into scams today, because we just like discussing all of this stuff. So first, I'm going to start like how it started, the FYRE Festival, for background information. So basically, the music festival was going to be used as a promotion tool for an app. The same people, the company, which was called FYRE, they were making an app to give people the ability to book music talent for like parties, functions, everything like that, business functions, everything like that, which actually sounds not a bad idea, honestly, for these super rich corporations if they want to book music talent. So basically this whole brainchild was created by Billy McFarland mainly, and Ja Rule came later. So, like I said, Ja Rule was was trying to look for businesses to invest, from what I gather, and he found out about Billy McFarland.
So Akash, ये Billy है कौन? I mean, is he someone from music industry or ये?
No, he is like a. I was going to say a entrepreneur, but from beginning he's kind of been scamming people as well. From what I found information, like basically he used to buy tickets. Say that like say like Hamilton, the popular play,
The
theater
Broadway play, yeah.
Hamilton, yeah, Broadway play, was very popular at one point. Everyone was trying to look for a ticket. He said like I have 100 tickets, and he had no tickets at the time, so people go to buy it from him. And just before the play was starting, you go StubHub, you get these really discounted tickets,
Right.
because they're just trying to sell. So he would buy those tickets then
Yeah.
at the last minute, and then go personally to the line and just give it personally to people. Like, okay, this is
Oh, तो basically Gujarati था.
Oh.
Yeah.
But no.
So,
I'm not just.
that's not exactly
I would think like many people would also think of that as very like a hustler, like a very
Exactly.
Smart way of
smart way of doing
it
it.
was a smart way. It was a smart way.
As long as people
But then
got
there have
in, I
been
guess.
cases where He never gave any ticket.
And I'm sure he must have
Just took
charged
the
a hell
money.
lot, right? For those tickets. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, to
I'm
make
sure.
profit, I'm
Uh,
assuming he has to double at least, right?
Uh-huh. So background information on the Billy McFarlane. So before FYRE, he founded FYRE. A company called Magnesis was also there. He created, which was kind of like a member benefits kind of club aimed at millennials. So it basically was just a steel card trying to emulate. You guys know the American Express, the black
Yeah.
card, like the very
Hmm.
prestigious thing, like super rich have. It has amazing benefits and all. So it was trying to emulate that, but was strictly a membership card, meaning like there was no bank like money. It was not a bank card, like it was not a credit card, a debit card, or anything like that. It was just a membership card where you'd get advantages. So how he did that was people were able to link their bank account to that Magnesis card. Certain banks were allowing them to do that, like Wells Fargo and Bank of America. But yeah, it was strictly benefits, meaning like you get VIP access to clubs, hotel discounts, and this business venture was actually fairly successful. He didn't do amazing, but he did decently. That he made money, and he was also in like featured in Bloomberg, a business channel, and
So
everywhere.
this business was before this FYRE Wala company.
Yeah,
Okay.
before Fire
Magnesius and
Fire
everything made
company.
him mainstream, essentially.
Yeah,
Okay.
basically, and that's also he got celebrities to promote it, like Rick Ross and all these musicians as well.
Oh, so he's
So
like
it
choosing
was
hip
fairly.
hop and rap artists
Yeah.
specifically. Okay.
He's paying them to promote them. Obviously, I don't think they came
Yeah.
up and said, "Oh, this is a good idea." I thi- he paid them. Only I think Ja Rule came up to him with a business opportunity. There's more interesting about Ja Rule. I'll get into it later. But so Billy McFarlane basically made a name for himself with Magnesis in a way. So basically, from what of Billy McFarlane, basically he's just a salesman. He knew basically how to sell and attract people to invest in his companies. So one of them
Yeah.
was that Oklahoma City Thunder owner Aubrey McClendon, the late billionaire. I didn't even know he was the owner of Oklahoma City Thunder, the NBA team.
Mhm.
Wait, who?
But Aubrey McClendon,
Okay. I thought some
Chesapeake.
Clyde or Teslick family, Drexler family or someone owned
I don't
it.
know if they took it, but
Okay.
this guy passed away. But he was an investor in Magnesis and all. And there's a separate story on him. He was also accused of fraud. He's a billionaire. He's been accused of fraud, and then one day after he was accused, he died in a car accident, which was very freaky. Which is so, yeah, it's very coincidental and very freaky, unfortunately. But
Hmm.
what were you saying, Amrit?
No, that starts में Final Destination का feel आ रहा है इसमें.
So eventually, fast forward, Magnesis becomes thing. Magnesis still existed for a while. Then he made met Ja Rule, and Ja Rule also became a part of Magnesis, and he became like a proper company representative. Ja Rule. So he and Billy McFarlane later on down the line have an idea for making a company called FYRE to book musical talent. So we fast forward a bit, and to promote the FYRE app, they decide to make FYRE Festival is announced with the themes of like Coachella in mind, Burning Man, Woodstock, all these
Yeah,
things they
if
wanted
I
to do.
remember, they were trying to mimic that the festival model that I
Yeah, they
think
were.
college crowds and younger उसमें वो had I think last
Hmm.
15 years में
Very
especially
adaptable.
has become quite ridiculously popular, right?
That's why
But
they
I think they were
Yeah,
also
a
targeted.
going with the
huge.
luxury brand. Like I don't think they wanted to
Yeah,
make a
they were
cheap
trying to make
wala
it higher
higher
up.
up. Yeah.
Yeah, they like Coachella. They people can just stay like it's very
Yeah, this is like an
some
exclusive
people have
एक
luxury.
Exclusive
Yeah,
one.
exclusivity
Yeah.
का वो था like
yeah,
when the controversy was broke out, the only thing I remember was कि like people जो गए थे वहाँ पे उनको लगा था कि वो कोई high level social media influencers हैं इसलिए उनको exclusive access मिला है, and that was the comedy.
exactly.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, so this thing seems impossible because it was going to be a huge luxury music festival. Music festivals themselves take a lot of money to
Yeah.
set up. I mean, Coachella in the beginning when it started, there was only some like a hot dog truck and a stage, and people were just able to just come and eat when it started Coachella, and then it evolved into this big thing.
Oh wow.
Yeah. That's the same with
So
Tomorrowland as well.
No, with
Yeah, all
all
these
of
they
them,
started.
because
All of them
by
started.
even
Yeah,
setting up a
all of
stage
them
is
started.
a very costly thing wherever you
Yeah.
are. Like कहीं पे जाके कोई तुम्हें बोलना है, तुम्हें stage setup करना है, लोगों को बुलाना है. If it grows organically, it's one thing, but
Mm. So this place was going to have like villas, everything for people to some people to stay in who pay the price, and
Yeah.
good tents, good quality tents, and 33 groups performing was on the thing on advertised, and it was all going to be planned in 6 months, which
Damn.
already sounds like
And which
Impossible.
year was ye?
impossible.
it was 2017.
Okay, that I don't think we should say the timing is impossible. It's like it's just till now you have not mentioned a single backer slash sponsor whom I would think would make it seem
Yeah,
realistic. 6 months may any large now any of the top companies can do it, but you would need those kinds of
The
names
no,
behind
but
it.
resources.
but as starting off with 6 months people
No,
something
imagine if
like a company starting
one of
off
the big
is
but imagine if FYRE ke backers were some of your topmost
oh yeah if they had
if they
support
had Rockefeller or
100%.
Tidal or someone behind them, uh,
Hmm.
somebody huge who's already into event management or उनका subsidiary है ये,
Yeah,
then it's a different thing, right?
that's the thing that there's another company they used advertising company called I think it was Jerry Media or the brand was called Fuck Jerry to promote. It was actually to promote. They would basically make a meme. They make memes and everything to help promote social marketing, social media marketing.
Okay.
They're also involved, but I won't go into them much because I want to concentrate on Billy McFarland, the scam properly. So, so then they announced it by posting on social media just an orange kind of picture, a picture of the orange color. And the actually idea was behind that you see so many people posting pictures on themselves that what I noticed, the marketer said, what I noticed wasn't there was just like a solid color orange, and people would just stop and just say, "What is this?" And then they got like a load of celebrities just to post the color orange and put a tag Fire Festival. So people would be like, "What is Fire Festival? What is Fire
And I think
Festival?"
this was done by
It was
that
actually the
Fuck Jerry marketing company, right?
yeah,
And it
it
was a
was.
brilliant
Brilliant.
move. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really smart. It was a good smart move. So later on, they decided to make a commercial for the festival, and the word of the festival spread around on social media like wildfire. Basically, it was advertising the festival as this like place you had to be, and supermodels like Kendall Jenner and Bella Hadid were going to be involved in it. And on top of that, it was going to be hosted at Pablo Escobar's island, which for everyone who doesn't know, Pablo Escobar, huge drug cartel owner,
And
murderer,
that's in
and
Bahamas. कहाँ पे है ये?
yeah,
Yeah.
Bahamas.
Bahamas. So he advertised it's going to be this fancy island. It was, and to drive it was Pablo Escobar's island, private island. People can go visit, and then even the media management guys said that people were messaging me. Pablo Escobar killed some family members of mine. This is very insensitive, but the marketing insensitive. But the marketing just went ahead with it. Pablo Escobar's island and
There's
everything.
no negative
So
publicity.
yeah, no, everyone was just so excited that all these celebrities are going, are involved. So let's get back to reality. None of this was actually sorted. Forget the artists; they didn't have a place to do this. The island they advertised was actually just used as a promotional tool. So they had
Yeah.
nothing. They didn't have any artists organized. They said they had 33 artists. They didn't have it organized, and they didn't have the island a place to do the festival organized. So eventually, the festival did find a location in a place called Exuma, situated in the Bahamas as well. And when you actually hear the Bahamas, you guys think beautiful beaches, blue water,
Yeah.
plenty of
Yeah,
sunlight and all.
stereotypical Caribbean island essentially.
Exactly. But the place that he chose was not a beach, it was equivalent to a parking lot with a lot of gravel. There was no beaches, there was no sand, there was gravel everywhere. Also, money wise, this place didn't have enough money to pay the people. This company didn't have enough money to pay the people they were even employing. Forget paying the artists; they couldn't pay their employees, like the stage production crew and everything. They couldn't
Yeah.
pay them to make the stage.
They couldn't even pay the
And
local employees, I heard. Like
no, they couldn't
the
pay any.
locals.
They still
अबे
not
if
been
they
paid.
don't pay the American employees, तुझे क्या लगता है वो local employees को pay
Yeah, they'll
करेंगे?
pay. No way. But basically, so to make more money to pay employees, they basically announced that they sold out general admission tickets, which were the cheapest tickets available for the concert. They just said we've sold out of it, and we're now offering VIP packages, which included like airfare, luxury tent accommodation, and
Yeah.
meals cooked by celebrity chefs for 120, 12. I think was it $12,000 and up
Oh wow. VIP package
for
की price.
tickets. Then yeah, $12,000 and up. It could go higher than that. Some people have paid much more than that. So money became an issue, obviously, for them, even after that. So obviously, what do you do when to get yourself out of this hole you're digging? You would normally, well, you would actually cancel the whole thing normally, and that's the right thing to do. But they said we'll commit fraud. They basically put a fake evaluation on their whole thing, the company and everything with this FYRE Festival, how much money they'll generate and everything. And I think they valued themselves as a $90 million company
Whoa.
to attract investors. If I'm right, this is all from, by the way, documentaries and Wikipedia and all the research articles,
No,
everything,
that
Business
amount
Insider.
seems closely accurate because जो उन पे lawsuit था वो 100 million का था, तो I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Billy McFarlane valued his assets, his personal assets, separately, I think at 20 something million. And the company valuation was, he valued at 90 million. So he faked all of this on documents, everything that the company was valued at that. And it actually worked. Some investors gave money, and I think he was able to raise 26 million in dollars in investments.
That's
Imagine just by
yeah.
saying that, oh, I have a company with this
It's
But
and
it's
because
faking
of
it, he
the
got
but
26
he's just
million.
not just saying it, na. It's like this
Yeah,
this
yeah.
guy has been for the last 10 years just been doing a lot of seemingly exclusive stuff. तो लोगों को लग
Yep.
रहा है.
And he's been involved with celebrities, so people think also that, oh,
yeah.
this guy must pay
Like
the
if you
tips into
saw a guy
celebrities.
standing next to a B level cricketer, assume um a cricketer who is not at the जो current team में ना हो but था पहले once upon a time, कोई बड़ा नाम दिनेश मोंगिया या किसी के साइड में खड़ा है या तुम्हें उनकी साइड में and you'll be like, oh, हाँ but this seems reliable. I think जारूल की वजह से a lot of people actually thought it was legitimate. That's why they would
Yeah,
invest
also
it.
Jarul was a bit.
Which
Actually,
is
I've only listened
surprising
to a
though.
couple of Jarul songs. I know him mainly from Eminem's diss track.
Yeah, because I thought
So
Eminem and Dr. Dre had ruined Ja Rule's image
No, it was
overall.
not
they,
because of
they,
them. Then 50 got involved in it, and then it got
yeah,
really personal, and because of that, things went downhill. But he's a proper
Because
New York
Ja Rule,
icon. He's a
he is. He was a
icon.
big
He's a
thing.
huge thing in no, especially last 5 years. Mein, he
but
has
his
his
contract got
resurgence.
cancelled.
He lost
I heard his
money and
contract got cancelled and
He
stuff.
lost
he lost
money.
money and reputation. Yes, but Kevin, in the community, once you fail, also thus once the dust settles, he's still an icon who survived. He's alive. So even if वो जितनी भी especially last 5 years में, he has earned a lot of क्या कहते हैं like nostalgic value काफी है उसके नाम से, especially due to the Joe Budden podcast and a lot of these predominantly hip hop shows जिसमें his reputation has been like people are like you तुम just because he lost a rap battle cannot mean कि तुम lifelong उस बंदे के against रहो, क्योंकि न्यूयॉर्क में specifically he still has been resurging, and this issue itself gave him a lot more pub,
Hmm.
and because of how it
Yeah, it did.
ended, it was just like, oh, how smart. So yeah,
So, but I couldn't find any information whether he was also taken to court. He's, I think, still facing some charges,
He is.
but
he was
I
charged.
don't think he's reimbursed.
No,
Was he? Did he give money
no,
up or
he
anything like that?
didn't.
I couldn't find
He
anything.
didn't because
I think he was just the
Yeah,
the
face, right?
yeah,
he was a face,
and
but he was actually a business
no,
partner because he was a
no, but the
co-founder
thing
technically.
the reason why मैंने बोला ना कि like he got away वाला part, like he made it seem like देखो मुझे तो कोई आइडिया नहीं था कि ऐसा कुछ भी है,
Hmm.
मैं तो बस आई एम जस्ट द नाम का फिगर हेड,
Yeah.
जो ये बिल्ली है जो ये सब कर रहा है, ये बिल्ली का कांड है, मेरा कोई कांड नहीं है इसमें,
Yeah, Billy,
लिटरली.
Billy.
Billy ka
भाई क्योंकि
kaand.
there's this, because I found out about this on the Joe Budden podcast, the Fire Festival. मुझे मैं ट्विटर में कोई ऑरेंज हो या ग्रीन हो जाए मुझे कोई पता ही नहीं चलेगा. तो
Yeah, सच में.
आई फाउंड आउट अबाउट, क्योंकि वो हंस रहे थे कि देखो ये बेवकूफ लोग की क्या झंड हो गई. एंड देन अ फ्यू एपिसोड्स लेटर दे वर लाफिंग अबाउट द फैक्ट दैट जारुल मस्त है. जब कांड हुआ उसने बोला देखो मैं मेरा कुछ नहीं है इससे. एंड he clearly had the papers to prove it because he got sued in every single lawsuit that was placed
Yep.
alongside Billy McFarland. He was Billy McFarland didn't get sued alone. Both of them got sued for 100 million. So yeah.
I
It
think
was
they
crazy. Anyway,
I think Jarul was basically, I don't think in the company ownership or had a post in the company. He was not employed by the company. So
He had a
technically,
company post and a company के अंदर I think Fire Media के अंदर इसका कोई वो था, but I think there was no paperwork showing and they could not prove. See in fraud they have to show ना कि like कि इसको ये जो जब audit होगा the illegal amount has had something to do with this guy. हम
yeah.
चार अगर कोई कंपनी स्टार्ट करें and assume आकाश does fraud, बट हम चार भी हैं उसमें. बट इफ आई कैन प्रूव कि लीगली मेरा कोई फायदा नहीं हुआ इससे एंड आई हैव बैंक डॉक्यूमेंट शोइंग कि भाई मेरे पास तो कुछ था ही नहीं. सो इन if you get a lenient enough judge you can get away scot free कि हाँ obviously they didn't know कि partner side में ऐसा करा था. And if you can prove that there was no way you could know, which is something Jarul did quite beautifully कि there was no way I could have known कि ऐसा कुछ हो रहा है.
he played a victim basically
Exactly.
as well. So apart from the investors' money and saying that tickets have been sold out for general admission, other ways they tried to secure money was for the event was like one of them was by making customers add deposit cash into some wristbands. They were doing a cashless kind of transaction for when you're on the island, so that you can pay for services there like food or whatever, anything there. So people and they recommended people to put in $300 or more
Oh, damn.
into the
When you
wristband.
go to an
So they would
arcade वो कार्ड नहीं बनवाते.
such it's like the arcade. Imagine the arcade telling you, "Nee, you have to put $500 to play the games or something."
आकाश
This guy said, "Put
यहाँ
$300."
पे 100 या 200 से ऊपर नहीं बोलते वो. और that's rupees not dollars.
But it's like that's the thing, not $300 to put in on the for
But
the
I guess
island,
those people
and
were
then
that rich, na?
they used to take the money out. Yeah, I guess so. It was catered to the rich people.
No, it's not
So
about rich. I think it's about American. यहाँ पे बहुत ही common है कि people keeping money in uh, loyalty cards on सब में. Like
Yeah,
recently,
yeah, yeah.
यहाँ पे जो
no, that part.
Starbucks का app है. I mean, very well made app. So even people put money and then they can pay directly using their app.
No, it
And
is
they
our version.
recently
It is our
announced
version
they
of
had
Paytm, na?
exactly, and it's a pretty big deal because, and it's brilliant move by them because if they wanted to collect money, it's a cash which
Yeah,
they can
that's the
use,
best.
right? So
Yeah.
what जो मैं इसलिए Starbucks का example दिया, they had 1.2 billion dollars that way.
In
So now imagine that creates a huge pool for them to operate, right? Not everyone is going to use that money, so they have a huge leverage उस पैसे के साथ. So I think what
and
they
they
did was in a way brilliant.
you get more
It was
credit based
brilliant.
on that also, like because
Yeah, when they are good
Paytm
investors, then you can show.
as someone in India जो Paytm यूज करता है, I use Paytm पे I already पहले से put money because it makes my ordering food experience on Swiggy, ordering cab experience on Uber, paying my credit card bill, electricity bill and everything. Like अब 4 या 5 चीजें, gas bill, 5 essential every month things happen because I have to पहले से put money on Paytm. तो imagine उनका
Well,
valuation.
my point is that that's fine. It's actually a great way as well. But um, when a company tells you should put $300 at least in
Yeah,
tip, that sounds sketchy to me. Like you never say like a Starbucks or Paytm would never say to you like you should put
true,
$500 or
true,
something in this.
100%.
Yeah, this seems
When a
ridiculous.
company tells you like that, that seems very sketchy already from the start. Also, probably because we know about it now.
Yeah,
What is that? It's a scam. We're also thinking that way, but it still seems sketchy that no company will ever tell you how much money
Bhai,
you should
we
put
are
in there.
Indians. We would never have trusted them in the
But
first place.
Yeah, that's true.
But in my
So,
mind, Akash, if you think about it, it's a luxury festival. $300
It
is like
is.
the bare minimum that you can expect to spend over there also.
And especially
In
if you're,
that
since
part,
you're
right?
flying
No,
bahar,
yeah,
right? It's not like
Yeah.
within your wo. You're flying quite a distance. So
and that's true. And if it's like celebrity gourmet chefs, people are made to believe, then you'd expect like it's going to be
I mean,
expensive.
think about it. A beer is probably going to be overcharged to $15 a beer. So like,
So more about alcohol in a bit because it's also
yeah,
ridiculous.
okay.
So so there were a couple days out from the festival, like 3 days, 2 days, and living arrangements weren't even sorted by then. No tents, nothing. So a day before everyone flies. Oh, before I go, I'll talk about the alcohol. So they didn't have toilets sorted, they didn't have food, but this Billy McFarland bought $2 million worth of alcohol and flew it to the Bahamas, which now customs gonna have a huge say about this and tax him like a shitload for it. So they got taxed so much, and the people I remember on the documentary on both of them said, like, you. It was like we was like, you idiot! You bought $2 million worth of alcohol. We didn't get the toilets. We didn't get the food. We didn't get the steak, but we bought alcohol. And on top of that, you bought it from the US to the Bahamas, so we pay a shitload in tax. It was like doomed. So it was just hilarious that even everyone just alcohol pele karna hai, fir, then we'll deal with the rest. So then a day before everyone flies out to the festival, a storm happened as this shit show couldn't get even worse. And but correction, it could get worse because bands backed out as well.
Yeah.
in the back. So Blink 182, people were boarding the flight, and Blink 182, the band, forced that we were not going to Fire Festival. So it's like,
Because
just
उनको
oh,
since
advance
and
भी
Blink
पे नहीं
182
किया
was a
था ना,
big thing.
उनको
since
advance.
They didn't pay no one. They paid no one
since
advance.
you mentioned flights, I think he also arranged some private wo, right? At least he
Yeah,
marketed
that
that
was
way.
my next point.
Yeah.
Private jets. He was going to arrange private jets for everyone to fly into it nicely, but it was just like a normal chartered flight, I think.
Bro, this guy,
And everyone was
this Billy is like 25 and 26 when he's doing this. Can you believe
yeah, yeah.
this? जब ये scam 2016 में he is just 26 or 25. Can you imagine
Imagine.
this
So
level of like I don't
it's
know.
crazy.
Yeah.
It's
So
essentially like I think
basically,
Blink 182 I think complained more about. I don't think the reason they posted was apparently the once they found out about the stage and the setup and the quality of like the planning that these guys have done. Blink 182 said that we cannot give you a quality performance that we
yeah,
promise you, so
that
we're
they
going to
they
back
wrote
out.
that on their
Yeah.
post. But I think also, Kevin, none of them got paid in advance. All the artists that were associated with it, we said we'll be happy to, but we didn't get. We have terms that you have to pay us in
Yeah,
advance.
all of those. If you go for premier bands or any premier music outfit, एक वो essential होता है. Before I step up on your stage,
Yep.
the day I reach, and उसके बाद like there is a huge amount that's paid upfront. So
Yep.
yeah.
Hmm. So a
Absolutely.
lot of. I don't think they paid anyone. At least I couldn't find out if they paid anyone in advance. So people reached the area and saw the place. They found out this festival wasn't going to be a paradise. It was going to be a game of survival. So it was the Hunger Games basically for everyone there.
Yeah, I remember watching those
Tents,
videos. It seemed like कि वहाँ पे लोग, I think bunch of them reached वहाँ पे, and I think Storm भी उस time पे आया था, right? And
no, Storm was one day before, but it was like gloomy
yeah,
and dark.
and it was literally a shit show वहाँ पे. Like there was nothing
It was,
organized. It was a mess.
so the tents, the luxury tents that were promised were small tents. I think they said in the documentary that was like a FEMA tent, which basically provides just cover for you. There wasn't nothing in them. They didn't even put mattresses in them yet. Mattresses were outside on near the road, all stacked up on top of each other. It was completely shit, and tents weren't put up, and the workers were working 24 hours a day trying to get this sorted on the last minute. People, the local employees, like they've been put through shit like hell. They were working through the bad weather as well, and it was just bad, man. So
Not getting paid.
um and not getting paid on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
So there were no beaches as well. Okay, so actually an additional point, before when they landed, they were taken to some resort, where they were on a beach. There was a restaurant, and this restaurant was like shocked by so many people. It was like a pre-staging area kind of thing. They were just on the beach drinking. They were there for like a long time. Then finally, the buses took them to the place, and they were like all shocked. Like, this is what we paid for. So the gourmet food turned out to be just some cheese, two slices of bread, and a small side salad. And if I'm sure you guys have seen pictures, I remember because when I was researching, I've seen pictures. It just looks so bad,
And
man.
imagine
I
people have
feel you actually feel
they
But
have
bad.
paid
Akash,
thousands of dollars इसके लिए.
but Akash, don't you
Yeah,
think they got
thousands of
screwed
dollars.
even worse because this happened in the social media era?
Yeah, this got even worse.
I
Even
think
worse,
it's
definitely.
both ways, right? So they were able to pull it off because of social media era.
Yeah.
At the same time, they got screwed because of
Yeah,
social
because
media.
imagine this, all the rich people tell you and go to a specific island to party, and a lot of the social media kids are having their worst FOMO of all time, and
Hmm.
then to find out that
I
तुम
think in the
side salad खा
documentary
रहे
it
हो.
showed some folks they were not even able to afford it, but they sold something, right? And they managed to get the
Yeah.
tickets because they were fear of missing out, right? कि अरे
Hmm.
इतना बड़ा festival हो रहा है and we have to go. How can we miss it? And they lost apparently all their
Yeah, so
savings.
सोशल मीडिया का एंटायर पुल ही वो है ना, वो फोमो, जैसे तूने बोला कि लाइक तुम अगर तुम इवन इट डजंट मैटर, आई हैव टू बी देयर, देयर इज नो टैंजिबल रीजन फॉर यू टू बी
Yeah.
देयर, बट
I
यू
But
हैव
to
टू
be
बी देयर.
fair,
I
So
to
that
be fair, if I don't know if you have seen the marketing video, it looked genuine. Like even I was impressed. कि यार, if
hmm
they're able to pull this off, it's a
That's the
mind blowing
scary, that's
festival.
the scariest part ना. हम चार एडिटर्स के भरोसे हम क्या करेंगे?
Yeah.
Like, हम कितने easily gullible हैं. Like it's ridiculous. But
this is where that social media documentary comes into play that we watched.
yeah,
Actually, like how fooled we can all be by it.
Mhm.
But
I just saw the picture of
so
the sandwich. It was so sad.
yeah, no, it's so sad. So some people, although did get villas, but not all of them. Some of them did. It wasn't like as promised looking that it was looking like that as they showed in the pictures and everything, but they did get villas. So eventually all this shit show happens, people get a flight, people are staying at the airport trying to get out of the um,
Bahamas.
Bahamas, Exuma, trying to get, and their airport is very small. It's very
Yeah.
small. Like, it was packed with people. People were staying inside the airport. They had to stay at night because some bullshit about flight cannot leave until it has the full manifest of people or something like that. I remember.
Akash, where was Billy when this is happening?
So Billy actually was in Exuma at that time, and he actually was standing like on a table giving a speech saying that okay, we're getting this sorted, we're getting this sorted, and then the festival was also supposed to be for 2 days, like 2 weekends or something like that. So they said they tweeted out or messaged on social media that okay, the first day didn't go as planned, but the second day would be better. So so I was just thinking that anything will be better than this right
Yes.
now. So it doesn't matter what better, what do you mean
खाना
better
खिला दो.
in such way. I mean, there were videos of people fighting over mattresses, trying to get a mattress to their tent and all. It
Can you
was crazy.
imagine such up क्या कहते हैं, uptight people in a small place and having to sleep on the
Oh my
floor?
god. So a lawyer's firm got wind of this. Then Billy got sued for $100 million. Eventually, the FBI got involved, and Billy was arrested. McFarlane also pleaded guilty for fraud then, but then he got out on bail. I'm fast forwarding past because the shit show of FYRE Festival is just. I'm going back to his conviction cases and all. McFarlane then got out on bail and somehow still had money to spend on luxury like accommodations, going to nightclubs, everything, even though he was being sued. And then they found out while he was on bail, he created another company called NYC VIP Access and was selling tickets to the Met Gala, Victoria's Secret fashion show, places which you cannot buy tickets for, by the way.
Oh, is it?
You cannot.
Oh
It's only by
God.
By
invite
invite,
only.
the Met Gala is that na कि अगर तुम life में if you have made it
It's a
and you
party,
are in
yeah.
that area, then you will be called
Yeah.
there. If you have made it, like you have actually
Even the
made it.
Victoria's Secret fashion show. Yeah. You can only get invited to it. So, and there were other events as well where you could buy tickets and everything, but those, like, he was selling those as well, these two major things, and people And the thing was that he was sending it to the mailing list that the Fire Festival had. So all the previous customers of Fire Festival, he was sending them. So he's trying to scam them again, and he did it under a fake name as well. He made someone else do it for
And
him. He
even the
gave like,
company was different, right? He was a new company.
yeah, company was
Okay.
different.
This guy
So it was
ballsy.
basically further scamming.
He's like ballsy like
Huh?
anything. He has no like.
Such on bail, and you do this on
I
bail,
think it's an
and
addiction.
you
It's an
do,
addiction to keep
yeah.
selling and like
So
to be right. Because and Kevin, he's
the
25, 26 at this point, by the way.
so yeah, this there was a psychologist who came and was talking about, like, on the documentary. They came and talked about, like, a con artists and everything. It's like, what the thing about con artists is that they cannot quit. They'll keep coming back to their con eventually, and then that's while before Bill they showed that Billy went to this and did this NYC VIP access. She was talking about it, and then and they found out that he was doing this all again. So he was given three more charge. He had three more charges given to him of wire fraud, something
Yeah, but I
other
think they
forms of
got
fraud as well.
him. What they actually got him on was wire transfer fraud, no?
Yeah, yeah. So he was then given a 6 year sentence and had to pay $26 million in damages for now. I think the original case was 100, but they managed to get 26 million out of him so far. And 6 years to me seems little less, honestly, because
Seriously, it
the
does
amount
seem
of
less.
scamming.
No, because
But
Akash, do
I
you have
again,
numbers on what is the loss caused? The in amount, kitna tha?
no, I don't have those
And I
numbers
think that is
on
why
me.
the sentence is relatively lenient in people's eyes because
Mm,
a lot of the judgment
I
is
think
based on the people's own stupidity. एक तरीके से कि you fell for it. In my
The
opinion, that's how
sad
it feels.
the sad part is today in US, for example, like if a 19-year-old went and like was desperate for money and went and traded drugs, just for that one mistake for his whole life, he's going to stay in prison for like 20 odd years. That is the sad part. Like if you compare it, this man knows that he is wrong. He kept scamming, he kept coming back, and he gets 6 years. But a 19-year-old makes a mistake. Obviously, he shouldn't be selling drugs, but he made a mistake, but he gets 20 years. That's the sad part of the legal
नहीं,
system
the
today.
difference between the difference in incarceration के जो है for drug offenses obviously is like ridiculous compared to white collar crimes का जो वो होता है when I think the case is कि systemic damage ज़्यादा किसने cause किया है, and it's quite clear that the number of brands who were affected by this, the sheer emotional trauma that this guy put all those people through, even
Yeah.
if they may seem hoity-toity to others, they didn't deserve for that to happen to them. They paid for that thing. See, I will never
Yeah.
understand it. I found it funny when it happened. Honestly, I found it very funny when it happened. Even now, to an extent, I still find it funny. But
they made so much jokes. These late night show hosts made so much jokes about
no,
it.
because
It was
it was
pretty
the
funny.
ultimate thing ना यार, like तुम्हें पता है तुम
Yeah,
the
it was.
four of अभी हम इस यहाँ पे जो podcast करने वाले चार लोग हैं, short of very remarkably different things happening, वैसी exclusive event में हम probably life में कभी नहीं जाएंगे.
No.
Like short of
Mhm.
something remarkable, क्योंकि सोशल मीडिया इन्फ्लुएंसर उस टाइप के तुम नहीं होने वाले, या तुम्हारा उतना कैश रेवेन्यू नहीं होगा कि वेर यू विल फाइंड इट डिस्पोजेबल टू डू समथिंग लाइक दैट, गो टू एन
Yeah.
आइलैंड फॉर अ वीकेंड जस्ट टू टेक इन अ म्यूजिक फेस्टिवल. So now imagine the people for whom their life ended because they could not go there. And then to watch all these people
I mean,
being
I mean,
locked up
I
together,
Oh
think,
my god.
I
I
can
think
see
more
why they
than
would find
cash.
it funny.
I think more than cash flow, I think me personally, I would rather go for a known place like Coachella or Tomorrowland, where I know that I'm guaranteed what I pay for. I'm guaranteed that.
It
So like that's
With
depends.
the
something.
promise of some luxury,
And
like the way they
that's
showed it, like Arnav said, I would have believed it. I think
and
that, oh
I'm
my
what
god,
I'm
this is
saying is,
amazing.
Kevin, I'm talking about the way, like a part of what Akash said, ki, like it's not just exclusive, but it's one of those really like एक मान like Illuminati type meeting में जा रहे हैं हम.
Yeah.
Like of it was Fire Festival made it seem like the elite of the elites. That's what I'm saying.
Yep.
We can हम चाहे under all circumstances anyone can go and like put a certain amount of money and go to any of these events. But like you said, you'll know what is happening. But in the Fire Festival का twist था कि they almost made it seem like it's a special people invite only event, even though it wasn't. they made it seem like that, and which is what messed with so many people's head, because उतने पैसे नहीं थे, जैसे अर्नब ने बोला, people किडनी बेचकर या कुछ ना कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट चीजें बेचकर जा रहे हैं इवेंट के लिए, एंड देन उनका कटता है मस्त तरीके से, because
I
many
think
people remember could not even fly back, they didn't have
yeah,
money
they were stuck वहाँ पे.
to
Yeah, they couldn't.
But I think वही इसमें because who people who marketed it, right, they have some credibility. Kevin, for example, अगर कोई sporting event है and Messi tweets something about it, you feel it's genuine, right? Because Messi ने tweet किया है.
Yeah.
Same way in this case, all the celebrities, all the Instagram models, they all were tweeting, मतलब Instagram पे post कर रहे थे.
Kendall
So you
Jenner.
seem कि यार at least ये तो इतना वो नहीं, because they have a huge fan following, they have some 100 million
That's true.
followers, right? So you feel
Yeah.
we don't belong to that industry because we don't care that much about Instagram या वो modeling या जो भी. But if Messi tweets या if अपना कोई cricket का, we feel कि अरे यार ये तो this is genuine. They
I
cannot.
would feel in a heart feel, even if I have seen someone for like 20 minutes in the IPL, I would think that the thing is सोच समझ के घुसा होगा उसमें. Now imagine a New York icon standing next to it and
Oh.
saying कि ये तो genuine है, and that's why I think the
And
Ja
actually,
Rule thing is unfair. That
do you guys think? Do you guys think that wasn't Kendall Jenner and all these promoters also sued
They
for promoting?
I'm sure they were.
yeah, I think
I'm
in
sure they
documentary
were.
they
stick,
did
no?
show. But it cost one change in the social media ka game. So until then, I don't think they had to market that this post was paid. But now I think
Paid,
all the
yeah, paid partnership.
paid by something up, it's all tagged. So audience knows ki, and they're not responsible for it now because it's paid. So they basically
YouTube
covered
videos.
themselves.
YouTube videos, Instagram videos, majority of the time,
They all have
your
it now.
favorite MKBHD videos, उन सब में they have to declare कि भाई मुझे पैसे दिए गए हैं ये बोलने के लिए. I
Yeah.
think accountability, which is something where some like it would be like a news channel saying कि मुझे ये 5 चीजें pay कर रही हैं. That would just change the game altogether, I think. But same way.
You know?
And they can save themselves, right? Now उनको sue नहीं कर सकता. If it's paid by something,
so-
then they are safe. They are not live. वो
I would be happy to get paid to promote something. So if you want to reach out to me to promote,
Yeah, must
let us
must
know.
होगा ना.
FYRE
Must होगा
Festival.
6
If you want us
6
to
months
be
from now we
paid.
we all quit our day jobs and we're like हम podcast promote कर रहे हैं अलग अलग products यहाँ पे, गरम तेल and all sorts of things.
But this was a brilliant, I would say, marketing scam more than a financial scam, at least to me, because money involved was not that huge. If you think about like actual financial scams, the amount of paisa usme, like it's a ridiculous amount. Isme it's more about moral values and the marketing scam. As a
the marketing scam, I think it's a stark reminder of the years we are going into, because our
Yeah.
kids are going to be one of these kids. हम उनको बंद करके room के अंदर lock करके रखे, they are going to be the kid who will be like, पर मैंने तो वीडियो देखा है, वीडियो में वो कह रहे हैं, आप कैसे बोल रहे हो कि ये मेरा काट रहे हैं.
The fact that how
बेटा this
how
is
people fell into it.
नहीं, it's that thing ना, जब हम अपने पेरेंट्स का मजाक उड़ाते हैं. Like one of the videos I always say is like one of the, I think मैंने previous में बोला था तुम लोगों को कि जब मैं mom gets a scam email and I'm like यार ये तो scam है यार, आप मान कैसे सकते हो कि ये 25 लाख ऐसे दे देगा मजे में.
Oh yeah.
And like आप कैसे, and then they get offended and then I'm like देखो I didn't mean to get angry, but who will give ऐसे, but then their question is who will send directly to the phone. कोई फोन पे भेज रहा है तो, एंड इट्स वर्स जब यू नो मम्मी की कोई जो कजिन बहन या कोई भेज दे, देन इट्स लाइक अरे पर इन्होंने भेजा है तो कुछ तो होगा. बट हाउ कैन यू टेल पीपल की लाइन में सबके सब ढक्कन है, ऐसे थोड़ा ना कह सकते हो. एंड नाउ दैट्स द थिंग, आवर किड्स इन द नेक्स्ट जनरेशन विल बी देयर बिकॉज़ वी आर प्रोबेबली द वियर्ड मिडिल जनरेशन व्हिच हैज सीन हाउ द इंटरनेट हैज फूल्ड पीपल. नेक्स्ट जनरेशन वोंट इवन नो कि इंटरनेट तुम्हारे साथ ये कर सकती है.
Because we grew up without internet and then we are adapting to it
Exactly.
after we have gotten a basic understanding of the world. Like not a basic, as in we know the basics of what it is like without internet. Whereas the next generation does not have that liberty.
इसमें I think only saving grace for that Billy guy was, ऐसा मुझे लगता है कि majority of people who went for this crap, right, they all belong to a status where they can afford this much of money to. अगर यही scam अगर कोई गरीबों के साथ होता, for example, it would have been a huge deal because obviously
भाई,
now it becomes a.
Can I tell you a sad thing? ये ऐसे स्कैम से 25 स्कैम ज्यादा होते हैं गरीब लोगों के साथ, but because they are गरीब, it is never news.
it doesn't.
No, because it was in
Definitely
media. It
Does
was
not.
in media so much, right?
या
इसलिए
बिकॉज
Yeah.
गरीब लोगों को मार्केटिंग स्कैम से नहीं नॉर्मल स्कैम से उनके साथ घटिया चीजें
गरीब
होती
लोग मार्केटिंग स्कैम के लिए फंसते भी नहीं है in majority
फंसते भी नहीं
cases
है they'll
because
be
they are not
much
driven by
smarter.
those things. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not driven by greed, they're trying for subsistence and survival.
उनका survival is question mark वहाँ पे, so they
Yeah.
won't be going for
But
some. Yeah. It was a very
so,
interesting.
like Kevin said, people have not. Kevin mentioned people still haven't gotten paid by in the Bahamas, everywhere. Okay, the person who provided food on last minute, like basically last minute notice, still hasn't been paid. That bread and cheese, she was supposed to give it on last minute notice. She had to pay out of her pocket to feed people who were stranded.
Yeah. I feel bad for
So that
that
was
case.
really
Like people
disgusting.
who actually work day
Yeah,
and night
she's like,
वहाँ
I
पे.
didn't have. Yeah, they didn't get paid. She had paid out of her pocket, and they started a GoFundMe page, I think, for her or
Oh,
something
nice.
to pay
If
her, give
those
her some
some
money.
of those really rich social media influencers could probably cover it, I think.
Exactly.
If they want to, yeah.
Then
Ja Rule can
one
cover it.
funny thing is Ja Rule. You just mentioned Ja Rule has now is trying to create the Fire app again under the name Icon, which Amrit kept saying he's an icon in New York, and which he says it is very different to Fire but similar.
Nice.
भाई
So this
पकड़
is
के
all taken.
मार
That
यार
was taken
उसको.
from the documentary. They might have cut it up in a way, so you can't
Yeah,
take
he
with a grain of
might be
salt. But
backed by
when
different
they said that
people.
Ja Rule is making it, he said that it is very different but similar.
But I don't think any
Oh my
celebrities
god.
or groups are going to support him this time. He can start whatever festival he wants. I think now people are
Kevin,
too scared of getting involved.
he'll have a lot of hip hop behind him, and if he has a lot of hip hop, he'll have a huge crowd with him. He's
No,
my
so this is not going
This
to
is a
be
2017.
a festival.
Is it 20? Okay.
This is just the app that you can book musical talent.
Oh, वैसे.
He's copying that.
Then
He's not doing if he gets in the festival again, I don't think no one's
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
go. But it's just the
No,
app,
because
the Icon app.
recently he was in a meeting and was part of the production team Atlantic वगैरह. He has an entire production house which falls under Universal Music Group behind him. He has the actual rich controlling people behind him now, so he's fine. That's why I said, no, the funniest part of the whole thing was how he just wasn't like, मैंने थोड़ा ना कुछ किया है ये सब बिली ने किया है मेरा कोई हाथ नहीं है इसमें बाय बाय
So I wonder what happened to वो Billy guy. Is he in jail now? क्या है उसका?
जेल में
He's in jail. He's in jail.
Oh.
6 for 6 years. He's in jail.
2024 या 23 में निकलने वाला
But
है
he's in the decent wala jail. मतलब जो
वाइट कॉलर
white
जेल
collar
बॉस
crime
वाइट कॉलर
होता है.
जेल वाइट कॉलर क्राइम
Yeah, obviously.
बट जेल है भाई
So basically, the reason I picked this because I thought we talked about social media before and how I think this is a prime example of how social media can be used
Akash
in the wrong
gave
way.
the honest reason you had already seen it so you didn't want to do
No,
any other research
I saw it some time ago. No, I had to do extra research for this about his money and everything. But it was a perfect example of that social media. We discussed how social media can also be toxic, of how misleading it can be. And there was like, you can fool someone, so many people that there's going to be this giant festival. Put your money in, put all your money in. It's going to be a heck of a time. And then you don't get your money back. This is a
Yeah.
huge scam.
ever
And
And
it's
I'm
just
sure,
crazy.
see,
It's
what
just
another strange part is they are probably going to be young working class people, like younger who are just like in the prime of the age and like they're working. So like you're looking at like those kind of people who are probably a big percentage of them are educated and are in the age group of like 20 to 30 and still getting falling for the scam. That is how bad it is. Now think how the
Kevin,
next generation is going to be.
for me, it's much worse simply because of it is scary for me more than anything else. Because if I was one of those people with that intense FOMO, then I can understand they would never doubt it. Because imagine, na, that's my point. I was saying, like, if when you uh, especially have access to money and you can do it and you can show off, you have to be in a certain place in life where you go, okay, I don't need to do this. You have to have a certain mind space for these. So many of these people posting online has given them such a hard amount of or high amount of money. इनका जो revenue होता है सोशल मीडिया इन्फ्लुएंसर बन के जो ये प्रोडक्ट्स को एडवर्टाइज करते हैं, तो ऑब्वियसली यार देन उनके दिमाग में वो ग्रोथ नहीं हुआ. Like I think a lot of decisions I make now are very different from like 8 to 9 years ago when I was in my early 20s, simply because it's like कि जब कुछ नहीं था की thinking अभी भी है कि यार क्या मुझे जरूरत है या नहीं. Like that simple question. Should I go to this random festival? Was probably not something one of those kids thought. कि भाई कि obviously I should go. I can afford to go.
But I
Maybe
think
I
to be
don't even need to look into the background.
to be fair, वो majority of them I think they must have went with actual कि यार they are उनको music में interest है, right? There's a possibility it's not only because of social media, they actually went for some music वहाँ पे. I mean ये सारे Tomorrowland, Coachella यहाँ पे कितने लोग जाते हैं? It's crazy.
Akash, which all bands were supposed to be there?
So I had a list. Wait 1 second.
Don't say Blink 182 just because that's the only one you remember.
So Blink 182.
I would go to.
So Kanye was rumored. Kanye was rumored to come because Kendall Jenner posted. So everyone thought Kanye is coming. Kanye is coming.
But imagine, right? I
And
mean, if
there was a
he's a
lot.
big name,
Major
right?
Lazer.
Major Lazer, yeah. That isn't he that EDM
the
guy?
lean on guy.
Yeah.
That's how I know him.
Tyga, Pusha T.
Tyga was supposed to come.
I mean, I'm not a huge fan of a big majority
It
of
wasn't
these,
like
but yeah.
huge names, but it was good names. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't like a
Bro, that
Beyonce,
seems like
Jay-Z.
those seems like very
was big names.
exclusive names, if you ask me.
It
No,
is.
Migos and
It's
stuff.
very-
These guys are huge.
Yeah, the
Wait, bro,
good.
bhai, Migos can sell a festival right now in Antarctica and people will go. They are
Yeah.
such a ridiculously strong
trending list, yeah.
group.
So if that was the
and that
case,
was the
then I
beginning
don't
of
even
their
blame
run.
the people who bought the tickets. I mean, उनको क्या पता बेचारों को?
Yeah.
That is my thing.
No, but-
that is my thing. Like,
Yeah.
it's about spending habits. It's about तुम्हारे around दुनिया में क्या है. सब वही कर रहे हैं तो तुम क्यों नहीं करोगे? Which is scary.
Like for a normal concert, you just hear the artist coming and you book your tickets according to that. I don't even see who's hosting the thing, who's in charge of hosting it. I just
Especially
buy
at
it.
that age.
really feel-
Akash, I was going to disagree because now at this age, I would definitely look कि कहाँ हो रहा है, कैसे जा रहा है, logistics क्या है.
No, I'm saying before, like before
in
FYRE Festival.
college,
I
100%.
in,
If I can afford it,
in
I'm
college, everything when when we heard like, okay, Eminem is coming to this. I remember one time we were thinking about going. I doubt none of us would look at who's organizing it.
Yeah.
We'd just be like Eminem. Okay, we're going. Done.
Absolutely.
And the strange part is that these like they Jarul should have been, they should have targeted Jarul in a way to get him in trouble for that, because are you serious, they can't find a single document trail saying that he's part of this company.
Yes.
They have just not targeted him at all.
Kevin,
Or this
do
guy's
you
extremely smart.
really think they didn't try to target him? They tried to target him. That's just
They
it's for
definitely
the
tried.
first time that a rapper got away with it. Let us be very specific. They did everything they could because the Billy McFarland guy, if you look at him, looks like a clueless young child. अभी तो बच्चा है, इसे कुछ नहीं आता, इसको दूसरों ने बेवकूफ बनाया होगा.
No, we can't say rappers. This is the first time rapper. We just talked about Suge Knight and like a lot of those
Suge Knight
guys.
Suge Knight was a producer / manager. I'm talking about majority of time, and Jarul is someone who's already spent time in jail for other convictions as well. So it's not like the system wants to let him off. The genius of the thing, because I heard because all I knew about the FYRE Festival was how they discussed it on the Joe Budden podcast and people around it. Okay, and in that it was very clear that Ja had made it very specific कि तुम मेरे और इससे कोई bond proof नहीं कर सकते. You can say कि it is my face that brought people there. तो मैं तो बस वो हूँ. It was like I was like an outside contractor essentially.
He played the victim, totally the victim. Even when you hear him in like interviews, he's like, I had no idea what was going on. But then there's background videos of him going to the beaches in the promotional video and said, we're going to party like rock stars and fuck like porn stars and all like that. It's like crazy.
And then we ate salads like malnourished people.
Yeah. So one thing I was thought I was going to say, but yeah, two documentaries. There are two documentaries available on it. So from what I know, one on Netflix, and I think the other one's on HBO.
I think so. Yeah.
They're both good, but the HBO one is, I think, better.
Okay.
And because it actually has interview with the Billy McFarland himself, and it's just entertaining to see how he avoids
which is the
all
one
these questions.
with Billy McFarland? I'll watch that one. I want to see बच्चा बोलता क्या है.
That's the HBO one.
Is it on HBO or Amazon
That
Prime?
they interview him. In my area, it's not on Amazon
Okay,
Prime, but it might be there. In US, definitely it is. In I don't know about India, but I had to watch it on HBO with VPN.
got it.
Oh, I mean, we
So
don't use those kind of
since
things. Okay.
yeah, no VPN. Next is Amrit's topic on the Vyapam scam. Amrit, take it away.
अच्छा आकाश, जस्ट हमारी पब्लिक के लिए, अगर व्यापम स्कैम है, कौन सा स्कैम वैसे, क्या था व्यापम स्कैम? तुझे मतलब पता है
No,
व्यापम का?
no, I have not heard about it or anything. I
एट
have
ऑल?
nothing. I told these guys before when you were doing it that I'm going to come
देखो,
in blank for this.
जब
You
हम
explain it to me.
अच्छा, दैट वाज नॉट द रीजन व्हाई आई आस्क्ड यू, बट आई वाज वंडरिंग, नाम से तुझे कुछ समझ आया नहीं? देखिए, व्यापम स्कैम इज नॉट गोइंग टू बी अ स्कैम व्हिच इज गोइंग टू बी अबाउट, व्हिच इज गोइंग टू इन्वॉल्व अ लार्ज अमाउंट ऑफ मनी। मनी इसमें
Money.
काफी इन्वॉल्व है, ठीक है, पैसा काफी इन्वॉल्व है, बट इस स्कैम का चूज करने का रीजन ये था कि दिस वाज अ यूनिक स्कैम फॉर इंडिया। बट बिफोर एनीथिंग एल्स, लेट अस गेट आवर बेसिक्स आउट ऑफ द वे। व्यापम है क्या? व्यापम
Wait,
ऐसे
one second. Amrit is sounding like he's giving a lecture or something complete, like a teacher. He's come to like a hall and he's giving. Let us start
मैं
with what is
लेट अस
Vyapam.
स्टार्ट विद द बेसिक। ये हम स्कैम की
Yeah,
बात करते हैं,
exactly.
ये
आकाश
स्कैम की
विल
बात
वेरी
कर रहे
सून
हैं।
फिगर इट आउट कि वो एज ए टीचर क्यों बात कर रहा है।
क्यों भाई? क्योंकि हम टीचर्स के बारे में ही था ये पूरा स्कैम, और टीचर स्टूडेंट्स और सबका स्कैम ही था ये। पर व्यापम कम्स फ्रॉम, अंग्रेजी में जो हम कहते हैं, मध्य प्रदेश प्रोफेशनल एग्जामिनेशन बोर्ड।
Oh,
अब
oh
तो
yes, yes.
उससे
Okay, I've heard of this. I've heard of this. Okay,
तो
yeah.
मध्य प्रदेश प्रोफेशनल एग्जामिनेशन बोर्ड तो कोई बोलने नहीं वाला, तो उसका हिंदी में नाम क्या होता है? प्रोफेशनल की हिंदी होती है व्यावसायिक एग्जामिनेशन परीक्षा बोर्ड मंडल। तो लोगों ने उसके फर्स्ट के वो लेटर्स लेके व्यावसायिक का व्य, परीक्षा का प और मंडल का म मिला के व्यापम नाम बनाया। दैट इज
ओके
ऑल
आकाश,
व्हाट व्याप, दैट
रिपीट।
इज ऑल।
Okay.
रिपीट कर, से व्यावसायिक, व्यावसायिक
Yeah,
बोल। बट
definitely. Yeah.
एसेंशियली दैट वाज, दैट इज द रीजन ये नाम बड़ा फेमस हुआ, व्यापम स्कैम करके। पर व्यापम में स्कैम था क्या? तो स्कैम समझने के लिए समझना पड़ेगा व्यापम क्या करती थी। बहुत सिंपल चीज, मध्य प्रदेश सेंट्रल इंडिया का सब हाईएस्ट लैंड वाला स्टेट है। यहाँ पे सारी सरकारी नौकरियां, गवर्नमेंट जॉब्स एंड प्रोफेशनल कोर्सेज का कंप्लीट रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी केम अंडर व्यापम, who were the Madhya Pradesh examination board. If you understand that, you know majority of the scam already, because the scam part of this is कि हमारे गवर्नमेंट जॉब्स और मूवीज ने हमें क्या सिखाया है, हर जगह करप्शन बहुत होती है। तो एसेंशियली द फर्स्ट पार्ट ऑफ दिस स्कैम विच स्टार्टेड गेटिंग टॉक्ड अबाउट इन द 2000s was कि पता है एग्जामिनेशन में somebody else is going and writing an exam, some people OMR शीट भर रहे हैं तो ब्लैंक OMR फैल रही है, कोई बाद में जाके चेंज कर देता है, देयर इज लाइक क्वेश्चन पेपर इज बीइंग लीक्ड, आंसर्स आर बीइंग चेंज्ड, ऐसे रूमर्स फैल रहे हैं कि people are rich and privileged are getting all using all sorts of ways, लाखों की वो चल रही है, and there is a nexus which is causing cheating and fraudulent methods to get government jobs and seats in professional courses. That is the first part of the scam. आपको बस ये समझना जरूरी है कि scam, but the reason why, शुरुआत में ही मैंने बोला कि that's just one part of the scam, is because the second part of the scam is the reason why I chose this. This was the first scam in India where more than the money, the it was not, अभी कोई क्या कहते हैं, करप्शन का कोई चार्ज आता है, लोग क्या बोलते हैं, मीडिया को पैसे खिलाए जाते हैं ना। दिस इज वन ऑफ द फर्स्ट प्रॉपर ओपन स्कैम्स इन विच पैसे से मीडिया को हटाया नहीं गया ढंग से। Death was used to scare away the media, because this is one of those scams where technically over 50 people have died in mysterious circumstances, and some accounts say nearly 150 people have been killed, 150 to 156 तक numbers है, and unlimited other random people would die of mysterious circumstances, road accidents, कुछ लोग तो गुम हो गए। इसलिए ये स्कैम इतना इंपॉर्टेंट है। इसमें करोड़ों का कुछ बात नहीं है, क्योंकि करोड़ इसमें गए हैं, बट यू डू नॉट नो। सम एस्टिमेट्स से दैट लाइक लाखों करोड़ करोड़, यू कैन ऐड एज मेनी अमाउंट एज यू वांट, बट द थिंग अबाउट दिस स्कैम दैट आई एम गोइंग टू focus first after explaining how it happened is the mysterious deaths, because that is the part of this scam that really quietened people. Journalists मारे गए हैं, students मारे गए हैं, जो politicians मारे गए हैं, politicians के aides मारे गए हैं. This scam involved deaths in an unprecedented level in modern India. Because understand this, this is a very recent scam when it came to light. So let us go into how it came to light. So the rumor is that ये जो व्यापम के this system जो था of conducting examinations, this had started in the Congress government के time में ही. This came to light around the mid 2000s. Mid 2000s में एक exam है, PMT करके एक exam होता है, which is the pre medical test. मेडिकल का एग्जाम है, आपको अपने स्टेट के मेडिकल कॉलेज वगैरह में बेस्ड ऑन कोटा, रिजर्वेशन, मेरिट, ऑल सॉर्ट्स ऑफ थिंग्स मिला के वो मिलता है. बट क्या हुआ 2007-8 अराउंड, कुछ people started asking questions, like some rumors started spreading कि यार the kids who are getting admitted and the question paper and इन सब में कुछ problem है, कोई fraud चल रहा है. So there we run into, this story has many whistleblowers. There is one guy who will draw a lot of attention. He's called Dr. I will not take a lot of names because बहुत confuse हो जाओगे. एक नाम है of a good guy who did a lot of work. That is this doctor in Indore called Dr. Anand Rai. Now डॉक्टर आनंद राय 2009 में एक PIL करते हैं, पब्लिक इंटरेस्ट लिटिगेशन, कि यार कुछ पंगा चल रहा है इनका, क्योंकि ही वुड लेटर ऑन रिवील दैट इनको सुनने में आया था कि यार बहुत लोग पैसे दे देकर एडमिशन करवा रहे हैं और देयर इज अ नेक्सस दैट इज हैपनिंग. तो इन्होंने एक PIL सबमिट किया. बट व्हाट द स्कैम दैट वाज हैपनिंग वाज कि 2008-9 से लोगों को आइडिया मिलने लग गया कि something or the other is going terribly wrong in these exams. The kids admitted do not deserve to get admission. But nothing is being said loudly. Like, there is no...
एक question is, so this was only for state government jobs, right?
Inside the state of Madhya Pradesh. That's
Okay.
it.
Got it.
That's
Actually, this
one
is
of the
starting to.
one of
This
the
is
beauty
starting
of
to
this.
see.
हाँ बोल भाई बोल.
No, I was saying that I know you said about like money loss not being the focus, but I think this seems to be even worse because you're taking opportunities of the innocent and probably the most deserving people. I guess
Kevin,
from what you're sounding like, it's sounding like.
later on I will give you a very direct statistic, not just a statistic, an estimate of a statistic, because no, actually जब हमने दूसरे
Because you can't
scams,
estimate these things.
you can't at all. तुम्हें पता नहीं है
Hard.
what lives you have ruined by.
You can't put a
इतना
money
सब.
value to this.
I mean, one important thing to mention here would be, अभी यहाँ पे 7 रैंक से किसी बच्चे ने सिविल जॉब मिस करी थी और उस बंदे ने सुसाइड कर लिया. Now imagine the number of kids who were involved who have faced this problem. So how does the initial problem begins? 2007-8 के अराउंड एक ऑडिट होता है जिसके अराउंड ये MP के अंदर ही, जहाँ पे दे स्टार्ट फिगरिंग आउट की rumor starts spreading. So this Dr. Anand Rai comes and submits a PIL. हम वहाँ तक पहुँच गए, हम अराउंड 2009 पहुँच गए अभी. एंड होता क्या है अब मिस्टर, बातें अभी ना रूमर की तरह फैल रही हैं. नथिंग कॉन्क्रीट इज कमिंग टू द फोरफ्रंट. पीपल नो समथिंग इज रॉन्ग, बट बात वही है ना, लाइक आई कैन से कि मुझे लग रहा है करप्शन है. आई थिंक दिस स्टूडेंट हु हैज बीन एडमिटेड नथिंग. तो ये जो कॉलेज के डीन्स वगैरह है ना, some certain colleges, ये भी एक वो आया था, they started sending a list to the government saying कि यार ये जो कुछ students जिनको तुमने admission करके यहाँ पे भेजा है there is something wrong with them, like ये चोमू he should not be here, ये क्यों है, ये he shouldn't be here. They started seeing irregularities. But सरकार का फर्स्ट रिस्पॉन्स था, एज यूजुअल हर चीज में क्या होता है, कमिटी बनाते हैं. कमिटी बनी, कमिटी से बोला गया कि देखो इन्वेस्टिगेट करो. उन्होंने क्या इन्वेस्टिगेट किया कि जो फिंगरप्रिंट और फेस मैचिंग था इन द एंट्रेंस फॉर्म वो सेम होना चाहिए बस. उन्होंने वो चेक किया, उसको चेक किया, हाँ कोई स्कैम है ही नहीं, क्या बकवास कर रहा हूँ, स्कैम ओवर. बट ईच ईयर ये जो 2009 होता है, 10 होता है, 11 होता है, पीपल आर टॉकिंग अ लॉट मोर नाउ. एंड तो स्लोली करके दे डिसाइड कि लाइक थोड़े लो लेवल लोगों को हम वो करते हैं. तो 2009 की कमिटी बोलती है कि यार जो कि 2009 का जो एग्जाम था, PMT का एग्जाम, 2011 में एक रिपोर्ट निकालती है गवर्नमेंट, ठीक है, कि 114 बच्चे जो ये एग्जाम लिख के आए थे उन सब ने इम्पर्सनेशन यूज किया है. इट इज प्रूव्ड बाय अ गवर्नमेंट कमिटी. लिस्ट निकाल के लिखती है, कहती है ये सारे बच्चे अमीर परिवार के हैं, ये सारे के सबने यूपी और बिहार से लोगों को बुलाया गया। दिस इज अ रिपोर्ट फ्रॉम अ गवर्नमेंट कमिटी ऑफ द रूलिंग पार्टी, भाजपा की गवर्नमेंट थी उस वक्त, उन्होंने निकाली रिपोर्ट कि यार 2 साल पहले जो एग्जाम हुआ था उसमें इन सब ने 10 या 20 लाख कुछ देकर किसी और को जाके बैठा दिया है, एंड दैट इज डिक्लेयर्ड बाय देम। तो अब जब ये बात सरकार बोल रही है तो देन वाट लग जाएगी सबकी। बट व्हाट इन कॉमेडी पार्ट ऑफ इट इज दिस, किसी एक बच्चे का कुछ वो नहीं होता, नोबडी इज रिमूव्ड फ्रॉम कॉलेज, द गवर्नमेंट प्रूव्स दैट पीपल हैव बीन चीटिंग बट नोबडी इज रिमूव्ड। तो 2012 में अराउंड समवेयर जाके 3-4 लोगों को अरेस्ट कर लिया जाता है और बात हट जाती है। तो हमारे जो हीरो जो थे डॉक्टर आनंद राय, जिन्होंने 2009 में बोला था कि यार ये देयर इज समथिंग रॉन्ग हैपनिंग, यू हैव टू इन्वेस्टिगेट, वो 2013 में आके घुस के फिर से एक और पीआईएल मारते हैं। और वो आके आई थिंक ही स्टार्ट्स कांटेक्टिंग मीडिया और सब बोलते हैं कि यार यहाँ पे कोई सच्चाई बताने नहीं वाला, कि नोबडी इज एवर गोइंग टू लाइक कैच और क्या कहते हैं गिव पनिशमेंट टू एनी ऑफ दीज किड्स। तो मैं तो ढंग से मैं बोलना चाहता हूँ।
सो इन 2012 जब दे रिलीज्ड कि 114 बच्चों ने ये स्कैम में इन्वॉल्व हैं, डिड दे नो कि कौन से बच्चे इन्वॉल्व हैं, और दे हैड
अरे
जस्ट द नंबर
दे
के?
फिगर्ड आउट एवरीथिंग, दे वर मॉनिटरिंग देम। उसके पहले उनको इनको ना ऐसे कमिटी बनाई गई ना, इन्होंने 2009-10 में कमिटी बनाई गई। तो दे स्टार्टेड, इट्स नॉट हार्ड टू रियलाइज कि कौन चीटिंग कर रहा है। एंड एक और जो सीक्रेट रिपोर्ट अलग से बाहर निकली थी वो ये थी कि some deans had themselves sent a list to the government saying कि यार ये जो स्टूडेंट्स हैं, मान ले जब तुम पर्ड्यू के रजिस्ट्रार में थे, somebody sends a list saying कि ये जो 4 बच्चे हैं इसमें कुछ पंगा है, look into this.
Okay, so they knew
But
about the names and everything.
they had the list of names. The list of names can be accessed online as well.
Hmm.
And like, but you will see how terrible the story gets आगे जाके only, because you'll see the inaction. Because अब होता क्या है, the BJP government says कि हमने एक व्यापम बनाया इसलिए था कि around this time only, this is all happening about 2013-14 के around, they are saying कि हमने व्यापम बनाया था to remove your fraud. And Congress says कि तुमने व्यापम बनाया so that you can introduce fraud. And the comedy of that is कि इन दोनों के मिनिस्टर अब इसमें इन्वॉल्व है। so इसमें हाई ग्राउंड किसी के पास नहीं है। because when we come to part 2 you will start seeing why किसी के पास हाई ग्राउंड नहीं है। so now around 2013-14 ये मिस्टर आनंद राय फिर से वो बोलते हैं कि क्या कहते हैं PIL सबमिट करवाते हैं, वो करते हैं। so then a string of 2013 में this became a new scam. imagine this, 4 साल पहले ये खबर आ चुकी है। it becomes a national media scam only in 2013 कि like okay guys, बच्चों की लिस्ट एक्चुअली पकड़ी गई है, these kids name is there, all of them are still in college, कोई barely any has had any issue, सबको पता है कि impersonation के साथ अंदर घुसा है, बट किसी ने कुछ नहीं रोका। एक्चुअली दिस स्कैम 4 years later अभी नेशनल लॉ स्कूल भोपाल सेम स्टेट में हुआ था। many kids were removed. मुझे पर्सनल नॉलेज है उसकी क्योंकि धर्मपत्नी वहाँ से है। तो many students were taken out again क्योंकि इलीगल मेथड या फॉल्स मार्कशीट से अंदर घुसे थे। तो मध्य प्रदेश में लगता है ये काफी होता है। तो डॉक्टर आनंद राय की रिपोर्ट वापस आती है। तो 2013 में देयर आर ह्यूज अरेस्ट्स, लाइक आप some big the controller of the exam controller पंकज त्रिवेदी, दिस इज अ स्मॉल नेम बिकॉज इन सब ने फ्रॉड किया है। ही साइन समथिंग सेइंग कि कोई भी स्टूडेंट जो व्यापम से आया है गलत नहीं है। 2 हफ्ते बाद उसको अरेस्ट कर लेते हैं बिकॉज इट टर्न्स आउट ही इज वन ऑफ द किंग पिन्स ऑफ द होल थिंग। तो the guy hosting the exam has been doing leading the thing. They arrest people in multiple states और ये बहुत बहुत वो होता है। एंड लाइक पीपल आर लाइक वेरी नाइस, राइट, क्या हुआ, स्कैम था, एग्जाम में चीटिंग कर रहे थे, पकड़ लिया सबको, प्रॉब्लम
That was the
खत्म।
time when media got involved.
या मीडिया ढंग से अब देख रही है अच्छा ओ माय गॉड इतने लोगों को अरेस्ट किया, क्योंकि गवर्नमेंट बोल रही है हमने सबको पकड़ लिया, हमने देखो सबको पकड़ लिया, हम सबसे बेस्ट है, हमने 4 साल में स्कैम का फाड़ के रख दिया, तो स्कैम ओवर, व्हाई इज दिस अ बिग स्कैम। और ऑपोजिशन बोल रही है कि तुम्हारे ही लोग थे सारे। तो यहाँ पे पार्ट 2 ऑफ द स्कैम शुरू होता है, क्योंकि एंडिंग इसकी एनीवे सैड है, बट पार्ट 2 ऑफ द स्कैम यहाँ पे शुरू होता है। लोग मरने लग जाते हैं, एंड दैट हैज नेवर हैपेंड हमारे इसमें। सम ऑफ द वियर्ड डेथ स्टार्ट हैपनिंग। 2012 में एक लड़की थी, 19 साल की लड़की, शी इज फाउंड ऑन द रेलवे ट्रैक। लड़की का नाम आया था रिपोर्ट में, नम्रता दामोदर है उसका नाम। आया था, 19 साल की लड़की, कि इसने चीटिंग करके इसको एडमिशन मिला है। तो लोगों ने बोला यार शर्म से सुसाइड करा होगा इन्होंने, लाइक व्हाट एल्स विल, व्हाई एल्स विल समवन कमिट, रेलवे ट्रैक पे पड़े। इट वाज लेटर हाउएवर फाउंड आउट दैट इट वाज वायलेंट एस्फिक्सिया, लाइक उनका किसी ने गला घोट के ट्रैक के बीच में उनको मार दिया गया था। फिर एक मेडिकल कॉलेज के डीन ऑफ अ मेडिकल कॉलेज इन इंडिया, नेताजी सुभाष चंद्र बोस मेडिकल कॉलेज जबलपुर, डॉक्टर डी के सकाले, उनकी जली हुई बॉडी उनके घर में पाई गई। जैसे ये स्कैम बाहर आ रहा है, नाम बाहर आ रहे हैं, डेड बॉडीज फैल रही हैं। शैलेश यादव, मध्य प्रदेश के गवर्नर का बेटा, पिताजी के एकदम फिट हेल्दी, क्योंकि हिज नेम हैड कम आउट इन स्कैम, फाउंड विद अ ब्रेन हेमरेज इन फादर्स हाउस। कोई कुछ नहीं बोल सकता, लाइक रैंडमली। एक बंदा जो जिसने स्कैम कराया था, एक नरेंद्र सिंह तोमर, रैंडमली गेट्स अ हार्ट अटैक और वो मारा जाता है। एंड द रीजन व्हाई व्यापम बिकेम अ स्कैम, द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट डेट, जुलाई 4 2015, अक्षय सिंह, जो नम्रता दामोदर जब मरी थी, वो उनको इंटरव्यू कर रहा था, तो ही वाज वन ऑफ द पीपल जो शहर के अंदर जाके पूछ रहा था सबसे कि यार क्या है ये स्कैम, क्या हुआ
Media
था, क्या
person.
चीटिंग करी थी, मीडिया पर्सन। ही डाइज ऑफ अ हार्ट अटैक इन द मिडल ऑफ एन
Seriously?
इंटरव्यू के बीच में, एज ही इज ट्राइंग टू एक्सपोज, ही डाइज। तो अब सबकी फटके चार हो रही है, कॉलेज डीन्स आर डाइंग, पुलिस ऑफिसर्स आर डाइंग, स्कैम में जो इन्वॉल्व थे आर डाइंग, स्टूडेंट्स आर डाइंग, कोई जिंदा ही नहीं बचा इस पूरी कहानी में, लाइक नोबडी, बिकॉज ईच टाइम में देयर वर लेयर्स गोइंग अप टू बीजेपी। वो तब कांग्रेस वालों ने बोला कि बीजेपी के सारे लोग हैं, बट देन साइड से फिर कांग्रेस वाले लोगों के नाम भी आने लग गए, तो देयर वाज
If
नोबडी वो, बट पीपल जस्ट केप्ट डाइंग लेफ्ट
if
राइट
the
एंड सेंटर।
scam,
नाउ वी हैव मूव्ड इनटू 2015 2016 वगैरह, कोई रुकावट नहीं है, पीपल जस्ट केप्ट डाइंग ऑफ रैंडम थिंग्स। कोई जा रहा होगा, रोड एक्सीडेंट, बॉडी डिसअपियर हो गई, एक दिन घर पे दिख नहीं रहा, एनीवन हु कुड हैव caused any sort of issue was never ever found। and throughout the throughout
yeah,
the thing, जैसे ही जब सुप्रीम कोर्ट तक ये केस चलता है, इतने सारे लोग इसमें पकड़े जाते हैं, बहुत लोगों का नाम डाला जाता है, एंड एवरी केस में आज तक हर चीज में या तो सुइसाइड बोला गया है या केस को कोल्ड केस मार के बोला जाता है। तो 2017 में इस केस का एक ऑफिशियल पहला एंडिंग आता है। सुप्रीम कोर्ट एक जजमेंट निकालती है जिसमें 634 डॉक्टर्स जिनका प्रूफ कर सकते थे, 634 डॉक्टर्स, उनका डिग्री कैंसिल कर दिया जाता है। बट पॉइंट उसका ये है कि ईच वन ऑफ देम जिन्होंने कर, दे वर ऑल प्रैक्टिसिंग एंड दे कैन ऑब्वियसली प्रैक्टिस आउटसाइड एज वेल, मेजॉरिटी ऑफ उसमें तुम्हें रैमिफिकेशंस बहुत कम होते हैं, वो किया जाता है। बट नॉट वन बियॉन्ड पॉन अरेस्ट एवर हैज हैपेंड इन दिस केस। 150 लोग मारे गए हैं, करोर्स हैव बीन स्पेंट, 19, एंड लेटर ऑन इट वाज फाउंड आउट कि ये मिड 90s से प्रॉपरली दिस स्कैम वाज बीइंग परफेक्टेड। तो
Yeah.
एसेंशियली 15 से 20 साल के लिए लैक्स ऑफ स्टूडेंट्स मिस्ड आउट ऑन एडमिशन, क्योंकि आपको पता है कि हर कॉलेज में कितनी कम रिजर्व वो होती है, सीट्स का कितना वो होता है, एंड नोबडी वाज अलाउड, किसी को रेस्टिट्यूशन ऑफ वो नहीं है एज के ऊपर। व्यापम इज स्टिल बीइंग यूज्ड, इट्स स्टिल समथिंग दैट एग्जिस्ट्स, एंड उसके अंडर नाउ 2014 में सब इंस्पेक्टर्स कुड बी हायर्ड डायरेक्टली, दैट वाज अनदर स्कैम व्हिच केम। जब ये कांड चल रहा है उसके बीच में दे रिमूव्ड सब इंस्पेक्टर्स का वो, एंड यू नो व्हाट, सब इंस्पेक्टर के टेस्ट में व्हाट डिड दे रिमूव, व्हाट इज द बेस्ट पार्ट, दे रिमूव्ड फिजिकल टेस्ट फ्रॉम सब इंस्पेक्टर का टेस्ट, so they don't have to meet any physical qualification, yeah, under Vyapam. It is still existing today. It's not something which even remotely, like kabhi wo हटाया गया या खत्म किया गया। Anybody and everyone, like हम जब आरुषि के केस में जब बात कर रहे थे तब हमने ये बोला था ना कि यार अनसॉल्व्ड है वो है, इसमें whoever has even tried to get involved has genuinely just been killed or is in jail. Whoever spoke up has just died.
Did anyone
And
release
has
any numbers on the estimate of number of students who basically were involved? Any
नहीं,
estimate कुछ official आया?
95 से 2015 के बीच में मान लो अगर ये स्कैम एक्टिव था, 1000 सीट्स है और वन वो है, बट इमेजिन दिस इज 1000 सीट्स किसी एक एग्जाम में होंगी। एवरी सिंगल प्रोफेशनल कॉलेज का एग्जाम इन द स्टेट ऑफ मध्य प्रदेश, वन ऑफ इंडियाज बिगेस्ट स्टेट्स, द बिगेस्ट बाय लैंड आई बिलीव, वन ऑफ नंबर।
Yeah.
So can you imagine the number? Because that's the point, na, Arnav. That the statistic Kevin ने पूछा ना क्या statistic क्या मिलेगा उससे? I said you
You
cannot
can't.
count
It's
because you cannot count the number of kids who lost out.
because even the
हम जितने
going back, like even the 24,000 crores of Sahara and all seems small in front of the possibility of loss of opportunities
and
that people have gone through and the suicides.
and you have to, Kevin, you have to understand the saddest part of this is this. तुझे पता है गवर्नमेंट जॉब्स और उस वाले प्राइवेट बच्चे बहुत एंड में जाते हैं यार गवर्नमेंट जॉब्स के लिए।
Exactly.
majority of the government jobs go for the poorest of the poor. सबको बाहर फॉरेन यूनिवर्सिटी या उसका सब चांस नहीं मिलता। लोग एसएटीज में वो कहते हैं ना, व्हाट वाज दैट जोक, डेरिक रोज ने एसएटी में चीटिंग करी थी किसी और को बैठा के, बट ही वाज गोइंग टुवर्ड्स एन एनबीए करियर एंड द अदर गाय आल्सो गॉट पेड। दीस पीपल टुक सीट्स, these people took वो यार लास्ट इस साल कोरोना के पहले a guy who missed out on a government job by 5 ranks यार 5 या 2 ranks, और लेटर उसको लेट पहुंचा, committed suicide
And
क्योंकि मुझे सरकारी
that
नौकरी
also
है।
tells,
इंडिया में
Government
सरकारी
jobs are the,
नौकरी is the number one security for a family which has worked,
yeah,
क्योंकि लाइफ लॉन्ग वो है,
and that,
मैरिज
काम नहीं
प्रोस्पेक्ट्स
करना,
इंप्रूव हो जाते हैं,
पेंशन है लाइफ
रिस्पेक्ट,
लॉन्ग.
डिग्निटी,
and not only that,
बिल्कुल, a lot of factors,
not a single, like,
but also it's financial security though Arnav, like it's a financial security बहुत huge है उसकी,
Yeah,
प्राइवेट में
exactly.
कोई
As you
security
said,
नहीं है।
कि majority of the people who come from a poor background, is उस type के background, for them even that kind of money is a game changer, right? Once you have that job security, it changes the whole game for the family.
not so
Vyapam is not painful because of the money involved at all for me, it's just the futures that were
the
crushed,
human value.
just crushed. The human element of it is something that can never be counted. There
Yeah.
is no statistic which can count
there's
कि कितने
there's
लोग
no
हैं.
monetary.
See, for me, it became because it got interesting for me because of the number of people who died. But the reason why मैं उस पे भी और, and I don't want to name each of the party members or वो or any of those things, simply for one reason. The cruelest thing you need to remember about this scam is for that for 20 plus years, these people held a nexus and took away seats from kids who could have been really good doctors, engineers, government officials.
Very true.
गवर्नमेंट जॉब्स एंड प्रोफेशनल जॉब्स, दिस इज बोथ साइड्स, इन्होंने दोनों तरफ से काटा है पूरे देश का।
Which
एंड
And
टिल टुडे 600 लाइसेंस कैंसिल हुए हैं ऑफ रियली
which al-
people who probably were not as influential and people who can go and do stuff elsewhere after all.
which also tells us
Yeah.
why this system is so is judging someone's abilities just by one exam and putting it on a competitive ranking is probably the
No,
worst
but
system, because that's
imagine
the only
Kevin,
system.
someone in the mid 90s who accepted that, yeah, okay, maybe I can't do this, or okay, I'm not built enough for a government job, and then realizing that it was taken so cruelly away from you.
Yeah.
Like
but
some,
one good part is, at least they cannot estimate. So one good part is no one can figure it out कि actually कितना बड़ा loss हो सकता है, right? I mean, imagine this must be in lakhs
yeah,
of
that's a
बच्चे, right?
भाई मैं कह रहा हूँ ना, देख दे एस्टिमेट कि ये मिड 90s से शुरू हुआ है, nobody knows कब
No one
शुरू हुआ
Bhai,
है,
knows. And the fact
nobody
is, this
knows,
kind of
and no,
thing
this
system
is
even goes abhi
just
bhi.
Madhya Pradesh, this was just
see,
Madhya Pradesh.
Exactly.
you're looking at life.
Can you now, if you, the ramifications of this are so terribly huge
Yeah.
that you cannot even put your mind, like one of the biggest reasons why I chose this was because ki, there is no number I can put on this that will like income, I can say अच्छा 50 लोग मारे गए या 150 लोग कहते हैं मरे गए, बट जो lives हमने क्रश होते ही देखी है ना, उस पे कोई नंबर है ही नहीं।
Yep.
And that's even today, like आज भी there are n number of states, हमेशा इतने न्यूज़ आती है कि इतने लोगों के लाइसेंस बाद में कैंसिल हो गए for whatever reason. And
तमिलनाडु में अभी जो हुआ है, टॉपर्स की जो लिस्ट आई थी, जो बच्चे टॉप में सारे खत्म हुए थे, वो सारे के सबका पता लगा कि उन्होंने एग्जाम के बाद उनकी शीट्स वर चेंज्ड एंड आंसर्स वर चेंज्ड बाय पीपल हु वर सिटिंग इन द ट्रक्स ट्रांसपोर्टिंग द मार्कशीट्स।
I think
व्यापम में क्या होता था कि बच्चों को 10 लोगों को एक लाइन में बिठा देंगे, या तो उनके नाम से उत्तर प्रदेश में सेम शक्ल का कोई और इंसान आके पेपर लिख के चला जाएगा, या उनके आंसर्स इनविजिबल शीट्स पेपर ब्लैंक छोड़ो कोई भर देगा। सी दैट्स व्हाई ये सब नॉर्मल चीजें जो मूवीज में देखी है तुमने, But
even
movies में it does not affect this way.
even the way they used to sit there was that was organized कि like एक smart बच्चे के
Yeah.
आसपास कुछ लोगों को बिठाएंगे so they can like copy from each other and blah blah
भाई
blah.
इमेजिन
But that was crazy.
लास्ट ईयर का टॉपर को 25 लाख देखकर वो बैठाए, वो वो तुम्हारे सामने पेपर करेगा और तुम्हें दिखाएगा, और इन्विजिलेटर को पैसे दिए गए 2,000 रुपए, तू उसको रोकियो मत, पकड़ियो मत, स्पॉट चेक होता है तो रोक दियो, बता दियो, वार्न कर दियो कि कोई आ रहा है. कैन यू इमेजिन? कैन यू इमेजिन भाई, लोग अपने दिन रात बैठ के पढ़ते हैं एग्जाम्स के लिए. दैट्स व्हाई आई वाज सेइंग, लाइक फॉर किड्स हु गॉट द अपॉर्चुनिटीज इन डिफरेंट वेज, it's like a huge, we cannot ever even think of the kind of
Oh no
loss
way.
that
क्योंकि फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल अपन ने
is
इतनी
being
पढ़ाई
done.
नहीं की है. सेकेंडली
No, but no, Arnav, that sort of a chance has not been taken unfairly
And on
from
a,
us.
on
no,
Okay,
because
ना तो
we never
no
got
no
the
वो
अपन उस
वो
लाइन
तो
में थे ही
भूल
नहीं.
वो तो भूल जाना कि हम रेस में नहीं थे.
Yeah.
भूल जाए कि हम रेस में नहीं थे. बट द फैक्ट कि उतना चाहने के बाद इतने ब्लेटेंटली अनफेयर वेज है, इट्स लाइक अनबेरेबल. टू मी पर्सनली, आई हैव थॉट दिस वाज द मोस्ट हार्ट ब्रेकिंग थिंग, बिकॉज आई कैनॉट से कितने लोगों के साथ हुआ होगा. व्हाट दैट किड मस्ट हैव फेल्ट यार, जो 201 में खत्म हुआ और 200 लोग को ही एडमिशन मिला.
Yeah, and thing is, it's about the future of your country, right? कि इतने सारे बच्चे and still no one knows कि कितने states में इस type के scam चलते हैं, since what year. No one has any freaking clue, or no one maybe wants to crack down on these things.
and
Who God knows, क्योंकि हमेशा every year there's a new something about some scam बच्चों के future के which is related to them. So it's sad कि, and this is not only about India. It even happens in US. So
Everywhere.
that's the
Everywhere.
sad part.
It's just ये जो underhand sleight methods नहीं है, sleight of hand methods, like जिसमें you can't like it's like such a human error. यार तू एग्जाम देने जाता है एक सेंटर में, तूने बोर्ड एग्जाम्स यहाँ पे दिए थे ना, तो एग्जाम देने जा रहे हैं यहाँ पे, तो तूने पेपर लिखा, शीट टाई करी और दे दी. नाउ अनदर गाय सिटिंग नेक्स्ट टू यू, क्लासमेट ही होगा तेरा, बट अदर दूसरे स्कूल के बच्चे जो शो अप देयर बाय चांस,
Yeah.
अगर वो भी पेपर दे रहे हैं, नाउ इमेजिन इफ द अदर चाइल्ड हु इज देयर विथ यू, उसका पेपर इज नाउ बीइंग टेकन बाय एन इन्विजिलेटर जो 15 मिनट 30 मिनट्स और उसका पेपर में भर रहा है, और उस बच्चे का प्राइवेट किसी गवर्नमेंट कॉलेज में एडमिशन हो जाता है, और तेरे दोस्त का जिसका कट ऑफ नहीं रीच पाया, कट ऑफ सर 90+ कट ऑफ यार, 99 99 के ऊपर कट ऑफ जाते हैं आजकल. बच्चों की लाइफ और डेथ का सवाल है ये.
yeah,
एंड अनफॉर्चुनेटली
that's
यू नो.
actually on another note I wanted to add. See, one of the things that I think we all should, like even listeners also, we should remember is the EA scam, for example, and all the other scams we have talked about has gone for like 20 years. So think about the different governments, the different of people who have come into power in that. So that is one thing I've learned in the last few days. Regardless whether it is your favorable government or your hated government or whatever, doesn't matter. If it is doing wrong, question it. Even if it is your favorite government or it is you a government you hate, question every single thing that they do. Do not take the
You
do
have
not
to be one of
you have the
the
right to
comedy
do it.
part of all of the guy who is the whistleblower for this, डॉक्टर आनंद राय, तो उसको उन्होंने बोला पहले कि तुम तो कांग्रेस के वो एजेंट हो, फिर उनको पता लगा कि वो आरएसएस का सेवक था फॉर अ लॉन्ग टाइम, बट ही वाज जस्ट अ
No,
वेरी
इसमें
ऑनेस्ट मैन.
इसमें
ही
इसमें
जस्ट सेड
कांग्रेस
कि
हो
मुझे
या
कुछ गलत दिखा.
इसमें कांग्रेस या
नहीं
बीजेपी
नहीं नहीं,
कुछ नहीं बोल
नो
सकता है.
नो, I'm saying that to build up on your point, like it's the honesty. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, to build up on the whistleblower was someone who was hardcore like into that ideology and who believed in it, but who believed in the truth of it, कि मैं सच्चाई के लिए बन कर रहा हूँ ये. And that's why
Yeah.
when they tried to like say कि you're a agent of the, okay, simple thing क्या होती है, whistleblower आता है तो तुम उनके एजेंट हो, तुम उनके एजेंट हो बोलते हो ना सब, तुम
Yeah.
ऑपोजिशन के एजेंट हो, बट इट टर्न्स आउट ये तो तुम्हारे ही घर से कोई उठ के सच बताने की कोशिश कर रहा है.
Yeah.
एंड द अदर थिंग इज व्हेन द अदर ऑपोजिशन ने बोला, फिर ऑपोजिशन के लोगों के भी नाम आने लग गए, उनके बच्चों ने भी यही यूज किया. तो
क्योंकि we notice
You know,
सब मिले
it's
हुए हैं.
not
and
it's not about any government or anyone. It's end of the day it boils down to, if you imagine any scam, right? उसमें नॉर्मल लोग हैं, like जिन बच्चों ने स्कैम किया है, they knew about these things, right? They cannot be so unaware of things happening. So it's not about कौन सी गवर्नमेंट थी या क्या था. It's about people's mindset, and we all are part of it, unfortunately.
एंड इमेजिन यार, ये जो बच्चे हैं जिनका हुआ है, जिनको जिनको फिर जो वहाँ पे, वन ऑफ द थिंग्स इज आल्सो कि लाइक सम ऑफ द किड्स हु आर ऑन कैंपस, लाइक सम ऑफ द स्टूडेंट्स शुड से कि यार इट डजंट सीम लाइक दे हैव टेक्निकल नॉलेज ऑफ द सब्जेक्ट एट ऑल. Like ये घुसे कैसे हैं? But there was one of the earliest like again it's not comedy but it's like a weird thing. Like you'll have someone really rich on campus and नाम के लिए they have come in on a merit seat
Yeah.
and you don't and other kids who have come in on a merit seat will just get confused कि यार पर something doesn't click because these are all professional courses. It's not going to take too long for you to figure out.
I gotta
Yep.
say the
So that's the
methods of
point.
them trying to get the good marks and everything is very interesting. There's one where they would leave their sheets blank, answer sheets blank. Then the corrupt board officials would manipulate the records to give these candidates randomly high percentages. And then to avoid being caught in case of an audit, they would file a right to information request demanding to view these answer sheets and then fill in the answers quickly on the sheet. Imagine that's a very that's, you know.
That's like next level scam. So you can think if somebody thought that much कि उन्होंने law का भी वो देखा कि वो circumvent करने की कुछ करे. Like I say, if you go into the nitty gritties of the entire scam, it's like gets so thoroughly depressing.
Yeah.
It's just depressing.
It's
That's it.
मुझे more depressing लगा कि imagine कितने लोग regardless of कौन सी government है क्या है, they just want
Hmm.
to take shortcuts, right? And this is about
Yeah.
लोगों की mentality rather than anything else.
कि I will not give a fair fight. I
Yeah.
can get my way through in.
Nay, but
It's like
I
जब
feel,
मान ले.
but that's the thing, right? When you give someone a shortcut, they're going to use it. And as a government or an official,
No,
you have to
नहीं नहीं,
make
I
sure
think
that
इसमें
that shortcut is never available. That is
no
very
one gives a
important also.
shortcut. People find those shortcuts, right?
Yeah.
Kevin, this
Shortcuts
was
कभी भी होते नहीं
this.
है.
Nee,
नहीं,
but
but Arnav, इस specific case में, I think if the exam control guy was one of the people organizing it, then clearly someone's building a shortcut.
yeah.
But I don't think it's an overall shortcut. Also, it's like a inbuilt shortcut है इसमें एक chance है when you give
Because
that
if
much
you
power to them.
think about इसका एक level का नीचे का scam which we all have done, or I'm pretty sure which we all
No
have
way.
done. अपन एग्जाम में cheating करते थे. That's a scam
Mom,
in
Dad, I
itself.
haven't
आप
cheated
किसी बच्चे
ever.
and let's be honest, that's a scam. आप किसी दूसरे बच्चे के marks
Definitely.
compromise कर रहे हो. And India में competition is, as Amrit said, 99% पे कभी भी cut off हो जाता है. So एक दो
Arnav,
number से
if
भी
you're
ऊपर
a
नीचे game हो जाता, change हो
if
जाता है, right?
if
So
if you're a whistleblower, then this won't end well for you. I'm just saying.
so it's not about कि वो government क्या कर रही है, वो वहाँ का teacher क्या कर रहा है. It's about कि बच्चे क्या कर रहे हैं end of the day. यार.
Kevin, हमारे डिस्कशन हुआ था ना जब मैं बोला था कि as you grow older in life, you know it is about individual ownership. तुम क्या डिसाइड करते हो, तुम उस पॉइंट में उस सिचुएशन में हो, तुम क्या कर रहे हो. That's it.
Yeah.
Like that's it. You cannot control. सरकारें आती, हम सरकारें हैं यार, हम है जो
Exactly.
गवर्नमेंट है.
Yeah.
तू और मैं, आकाश और अर्नब, हम है जो दिख रहा है सामने. तुम इनको बोल के तुमने इतने बच्चों का लाइफस्टाइल बर्बाद किया बोल रहे हो, तो भाई तुमने क्या किया. तुम तो बस गप्पे मार
मतलब
रहे हो
बच्चों ने
सामने.
खाली OCR शीट्स दिए हैं, उनको पता नहीं था कि क्या हो रहा है.
या जो तुम उनका सिर्फ लाइसेंस नहीं होना चाहिए,
नहीं-
उनको लाइबल ऑन रखना चाहिए
नहीं,
कि
but
भाई
चीज़ है कि
तुझे पता था जब तू when
that
you
option.
entered that college knowing somebody else sat in that exam for you, it's your fault.
Yeah.
It's not just the fault कि तुम्हारे पेरेंट्स ने 25 लाख दिए. No, you went and took that person's seat.
You
तू
could
कोई
have said
संत
no.
नहीं है.
Yeah.
You are not like a innocent नहीं, पापा मम्मी ने कहा बेटा 25 लाख देने दो ना, ठीक है पापा मम्मी, मैं डॉक्टर बन जाऊंगा फ्री में. बस ये मजाक चल
But
रहा
this
है.
is happening in US as
बच्चा
well, like something similar. Like I
happening
know
everywhere.
I know someone from my school who was like a sheikh's um, child, and they spent like around 500,000 US dollars to get them into one of the top
Yeah, it
universities. Like
happens.
I'm talking about a university like Harvard or Yale and stuff like those, that level of university. They've spent about, they gave a
But Kevin,
huge
I think
donation to
don't
get
they
them in.
do it on? They don't do it in this way, right? It's like very
Yeah,
open में वो हमने 500 500,000 donation दिया है. See, while that is something to be frowned upon, वो तुम्हें दिख रहा है यार, management seats होती हैं.
correct.
तुम ये जो दूसरे स्कैम्स के थ्रू तुम impersonate करके घुसते हो, that is a very, see, don't forget that part of it. Management seats exist in many things. ये सरकारी कॉलेज का डिग्री के लिए तुमने वर्दी कैंडिडेट्स की सीट ली है और फिर तुम फर्जी चीजें लेकर तुम क्लिनिक बनाते हो, प्राइवेट क्लिनिक्स. डॉक्टर्स तुम सब इंडिया में बेसिक तो रह चुके हो, तुम्हें पता है डॉक्टर्स पे आंखें बंद करके कितना भरोसा होता है लोगों को यहाँ पे. Now imagine for 20+ years that state
A doctor like
had
this.
so many वो 634 डॉक्टर का, सॉरी 634 का वो हुआ है कैंसल. तो तुम सोच सकते हो कि वो कितनी ज्यादा लोगों की जिंदगियां छुई होगी इन लोगों ने. The number, that number alone is scary. A doctor sees 200 people a day.
Today,
634 over 20+ years.
today itself in the news there was a whole in NDTV पे आया था, बिहार में one hospital has 114 bad, like incorrectly done procedures in last month itself. This is and it's been narrowed down to like three incompetent doctors. Now think about like 114 incorrectly done surgical procedures is a huge. I can I have sympathy towards some doctors who errors can happen. They're humans,
Kevin,
but this is a huge investigation going.
it's sad to say, but it's a very small number in
Yeah.
India. 114
तू if you are
हर
shocked
दिन हो
by
जाएंगे.
114 ना, if you are shocked by
No,
100,
this is just one hospital in
114
one
पकड़े
area.
गए. Exactly.
Yeah.
ये
Yeah.
I was
114
I was
उनको
just
पता
gonna say I
लगे.
read up on that Anand Rai. There's another thing
अच्छा आकाश,
that
यार depressing
I
चीज
don't know,
बता.
Amrit. I don't know if you mentioned it actually. Even he was getting death threats, na? So he requested the court for security cover. And the court told him he has to
Yeah,
pay 50,000 rupees per month. Now the guy only earned 38,000, and they
yeah,
expected. It's like what?
he's a government employee. He's a government doctor, and it's very,
Yeah,
see. I don't even want to go into whistleblower ke saath cover, because if you do a scam
exactly.
like this when everyone else is dying, the biggest surprise is that you haven't not
That's
died.
true, na?
I'm sorry, it feels terrible to say it. Ki I'm happy he's alive. I know his life is terrible for saying the truth. Everyone who what he stood for, people are going against him. Guts मानने पड़ते हैं ऐसे लोगों
And
के.
47 unnatural deaths have
Yeah.
been
Have been
reported.
they have 47 deaths, वो है, have been said, जिसको at least they have agreed to say unnatural है.
Have been recorded.
They have agreed. See, in every
Yeah.
statistic you have to understand कि इसका
Yeah.
statistic का मतलब क्या है. वो इतने deaths को हम बोल रहे हैं, इतने सारे deaths से वो बोल रहे हैं तो suicide था यार. हाँ, ये आदमी को घर पे किसी ने जला दिया तो मतलब हाँ कुछ हुआ होगा. But a dean, तुम्हारे कॉलेज का प्रिंसिपल इज फाउंड बर्न्ड इन हिज ओन हाउस. ये क्या मतलब, क्या हो रहा है ये. गवर्नर का बेटा हट्टा गाटा नॉर्मल बैठा है, अगले दिन ब्रेन हेमरेज के साथ पापा के घर, उस घर में पकड़ पाना चाहते हैं. लाइक इट्स लाइक एन जर्नलिस्ट इज टेकिंग एन इंटरव्यू के बीच में हार्ट अटैक आ जाता है विद एन
मतलब
एक्यूज्ड.
इमेजिन इसमें गवर्नमेंट के लोग ही मर रहे हैं, राइट? सो हु
कोई
वाज
safe
इन्वॉल्वड,
नहीं.
नो वन नोज.
No one knows. See, that's the thing ना, nobody knows, किसी को आइडिया ही नहीं है. और लोगों की इतनी फट गई कि अब आज तक के जर्नलिस्ट को तुम इंटरव्यू के बीच में मार सकते हो ना भाई. इंडिया में फिर कोई सेफ नहीं है.
अरे आज
कोई
तक
सेफ नहीं
गवर्नर
है.
के बेटे को आपने टपका दिया यार. दैट्स गवर्नर इज वन ऑफ द मोस्ट
Of the ruling party also, by the way, so that's the even creepier part.
That just
कि
shows how
बेटे क्या
high
हो
up
गया.
this has gone, right?
Can't, मतलब कोई सोच ही नहीं सकता है.
या यू डोंट इवन नो इफ इट्स अ हाई अप या कितना नीचे है, कौन से लेवल पे, नो वन नोज कि कि कौन इन्वॉल्वड है
Yeah.
इसमें.
कि किस ऐसा कौन सा नाम है जो दोनों साइड छुपा रहे हैं और भाग रहे हैं.
या
बट या
या दोनों साइड डरते हैं उनसे.
जिनसे इतना
Relatively.
डरते हैं,
इतना
बोथ
डरते
साइड
हैं.
जितना डरते हैं, both sides.
Anyway, on that depressing note, we'll end the podcast, the show on this
This
time right now.
beautiful note. Guys, please be honest as much as you can.
टू लेट. अपन अमृत बच्चों का वो खराब कर चुके हैं ऑलरेडी, फ्यूचर चीटिंग करके.
So we're gonna close this topic here for this episode. Okay, what do you guys recommend? What are your recommendations for today?
And I would suggest watch Bollywood Wives on Netflix. That is the best thing I came. I would suggest one part of a book that was given to me by my a close friend.
Wait, speak in the mic. Speak in
It
the
is
mic.
Tim Ferriss का 4 Hour Body. उसमें एक 100 page section है on weight loss, which I think is quite good. 4 Hour Body by Tim Ferriss.
Tim Ferriss, 4 Hour Body. Okay. Arnav, any recommendation?
I think same जो मैंने starting में दिया था, since we were discussing scams.
Oh,
It's
huh.
actually
Oh,
it's actually pretty.
What was it? Say the name
what a
again and
lazy
everything.
guy. 1992
Because I
scam.
can't even remember what
The
you said.
1992 scam.
1992
Oh yeah.
scam.
हाँ.
It's a brilliant show, especially जो actor है उसमें, I think he's a Gujarati actor. But I नाम भूल गया उसका, मैं जो भी था.
It's available where?
Sony Live.
He was so brilliant that Arnav forgot his name.
Oh, I can't even watch that.
Some Gandhi.
Anyway.
Anyways, but it's a really good show. Like, it will give you insight about things happened in 90s, which changed the Indian stock market and all the.
Anyway, Kevin.
Kevin is lost.
Very good, Kevin. We got you.
Kevin recommended.
So my recommendation. I'll go with mine right now. My recommendation is not to watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine because I think it's not funny. I didn't like it at all. I started watching it based on you guys saying that.
Basically, recommendations is jo man mein aaye bolo.
Do not watch. Yeah, basically, no Fire Fraud. That's all. Otherwise, then the Fire Fraud documentary. I think the HBO one is really good, much better than the Netflix, in my opinion. It's very entertaining to watch, but I would also not recommend not to watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I don't know why people like it. I think it's boring and not funny.
Don't break Kevin's heart like this.
Sorry, Kevin.
Hello. Yeah, I like the
Yeah.
I like the few early episodes, like the one out of the first season or something like that. But then it gets
very
repetitive.
repetitive, man.
It gets very repetitive.
It gets repetitive. Like early on, it gets repetitive.
I
But
like
anyway, Kevin, do you have
I like Charles
recommendation?
Boyle in that. That's it, pretty much.
Uh-huh. He's decent.
I like Rosa.
You like all the darkness, no? You morbid ass.
No, I have no recommendation.
Chalo, thank you for your recommendation, Kevin.
Kevin proving once again that this segment keeps getting worse. But yeah.
Yeah, it started off so well as well when we started it. We all had recommendations
But
for weeks. Last 3 episodes, I think
Kevin
we have
7 दिन इतना busy होता है ना कि he can't even say anything else. तो वही है.
Anyway, so we'll end this podcast right here. Thanks everyone for listening to the Vele podcast. We are available, as you know, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and on YouTube as well.
If you guys
under
know
Vele
we are
Podcast.
available, then why don't you still listen? Is my point.
This is for the newcomers.
Oh, okay.
As many of you returning people will know. If you return. Amrit, thank you for returning.
We are available everywhere, but yet no one listens. But yeah.
Yeah, no one listens to it. But yes, and give us a follow on our Instagram account where hopefully someone will post something on that.
Don't follow it. ठीक है, ये ना 10 जगह इन्होंने अकाउंट खोल रखे हैं जहाँ पे होता कुछ भी नहीं है. और but the good thing that came out of it is कि अर्नव का जो आर्ट बना था, that's my favorite of all time. But yeah.
सही में.
Okay.
That we will.
Anyway, until next time.
I've shown it to so many people.
Bye.
But yeah.